All right, let me just finish this protein bar. One sec. So tasty. Always remember, my friends, the human body is a factory made of meat. And in order to do the things it wants to do, it needs to process food. Now, of course, if you have no food in your stomach, your body burns resources already on the body to do what it needs to do. Now, in my case, I have no fat on my body. This is a 0% body fat physique right here. So when I need to do something and I don't have anything in my stomach, the first material it burns is my neurons. My IQ just plummets, okay? Which, if you've ever seen me stream while I'm hungry, that explains that. So, which it's very, very important that I be at least slightly satiated before I start streaming. Yeah, that's why they call me 0% Fat Ian. Ha! How are we doing? Whew. Oh yeah, speaking of the Fat Ian shit, do you hear Nick Fuentes on a no-fly list now? That's funny as fuck. Damn. Truly the arm of big government swooping in to take down the little guy. Whoo, baby. How are we all doing? Twitter drama getting mainstream. Oh no! I saw this. I saw the headline. It got linked to me. This is insane. It's a Vice article. Oh no. Guys, we got to talk about this, okay? We 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 got to talk about this. This isn't okay. Oh god. Oh man, where do we where do we even start? Fuck. Oh god. Okay, wait. How are you guys ready for the hottest take that's ever been shared in this channel? Are you ready for it? Okay? How ready are you? It's that you people are fucking crazy. Oh my god. Why can't... We're never going to be able to do accountability properly as long as the online left is like this. It's not possible. Whether something good or bad happens, it's literally impossible for any positive outcome to take place. It doesn't matter whether SDL would have, like, tripped and, like, knocked an ice cream cone out of a kid's hand while, like, excuse me, god, coffee, walking down the boardwalk, or if SDL personally orchestrated the Armenian genocide. It's just, regardless of the range, how good or how bad, it's impossible to do accountability right now. Oh god. All right, people, there was like a whole thread saying that I should comment on this, which I guess I'm a drama channel now? You know? I guess we can do. I guess we're a drama channel now. Okay. I guess. Okay. Here are my hot take opinions. If I wanted to, I could go over like the million upteen fuck ton of logs, but I'm not going to. I'll just summarize what I remember, okay? And as you all know, I have a flawless memory, so it's really not going to be an issue. So a bunch of logs, mostly from Destiny's Discord, came out of SDL being pretty fucking racist, and some other stuff too, like being creepy and like harassing people and so on and so forth, okay? Now, apparently a lot of this ended up being like faked, and there were admissions of it being faked. Like some of the worst bits of it were screenshotted and like photoshopped by a person who used to be SDL's friend but is now some kind of crazy parasocial hanger-on. And I've had that happen to me too, trust me. Not a week goes by without some dipshit on pull crafting together some nefarious log of me. You know, we have to engage in some degree of skepticism here. There was a lot of it that was true, though. And also, SDL got, like, doxxed. And now people are saying SDL is related to, like, the head of the CIA or some shit like that. Yeah, I'm still... oh, my... Yeah, some Lockheed Martin. Yeah. So that he's some, like, plant? Yeah, they doxed his whole family. And, like, I don't think it's even true. But, like, he's related. And he went to, like, a private school. I think that part's true, which I guess is cancel worthy now. And yeah, I don't know. Look, I can go over the specifics, but I'm not going to because none of you deserve it. I'm actually going to talk about the generalities. Okay, are you guys ready for accountability? All right. Who here is ready for accountability? Okay. First of all, we need to recognize some shit. Okay. The people in my community did a bad job about this, okay? I saw in my Reddit, in my chat, even people in my Twitter following, you people were clamoring for blood the nanosecond you got an opportunity to, before anything got confirmed, before it was anything more than the shine in the eye of a woke scold, okay? And I'm very disappointed in all of you. All the people who were clamoring for blood, how are you fans of me? Like, are you all just like dice or like coins that were flipped and you just landed where you land? And the person you're a fan of, you give credibility to and like deferential treatment, but everyone else you don't? Like, come on, be a little bit consistent. If you're a fan of me, you have to like take a chill pill and think for a second. Hey, let's wait for a goddamn moment before we get angry at other people. It turns out there's a lot of stuff SDL did that's probably worth getting angry over. But here's the real question. This is the question I ask myself. There was a Reddit thread that got made in my subreddit, and it took all the self-control I had in my body. All of it. I mean, I had to like channel my chakras, you know, to not ban every single person in that thread. I only banned a few of them. Oh my god. Okay, I just want to really quickly address this, okay? Oh man, we banned very few people from our Reddit, okay? Anyway, I just want to address this. We're going to be really nice with this address, okay? Is Vosh surrounding himself with kind of shitty people? After the SDL situation, I was pretty disappointed the way Vosh responded to it. I ended up thinking more about who he platform / is friends with, and they were a little awful. Like shoes spinning around an Inaudible Vortex, SDL, as we've seen lately, Demon Mama, possibly the worst lefty debate streamer out there. I feel like he has so many more guests that are actually worth promoting and bringing on more often. Intellectual Media or Anarcho-Pack, for example. I just don't understand why he chooses to engage with people like Shu or Demon Mama instead. So there's a lot of... And then this has a 400 comments, so it goes down for a while. Okay, so this is probably a DGG plan. Okay, but that's okay. We're going to respond to this in good faith. Okay, first of all, here's my internal like clock metric for how I should treat people or problems or people with problems on the left. Okay? It's very, very simple, okay? Basically what I do is, I'm sorry, I totally fucked that sentence up. What I wanted to say was problematic people, but then I decided to restructure the sentence, but I already had my figures out, so I did this with just people, and then I thought, fuck, if I do that, it kind of implies they're not people, so then I had to do it in other... that sentence was completely fucked. Can we just wipe that from the logs? Okay. Anyway, we're gonna start over again, okay? Yeah, caught echo posting for a second there. So here's the standard that I apply, like really, really simply when I'm thinking about people, okay? in what way can I engage with them in a way which maximizes the benefits that I personally and that I guess the broader community gets, okay? So I can apply the standard to literally anyone. If we're talking about a person like, say, Sargon of Akkad or Stefan Molyneux or whatever, some dumb fuck conservative, if we're applying the standard to those people, then here are the questions. Here's how you lay it out. How good are these people? What good are they doing? What are they contributing to the world? Okay, it's not that great. All right, how can I best address that? Now, in the cases of people like that, the best way I can address that is by making fun of them. That's my channel, to an extent. Now, let's say you have somebody like Shu, okay? Now, with regards to Shu, what can you do when Shu expresses opinions that I disagree with, which she does quite frequently, mind, on Twitter, okay? Now, which do you guys think is a more effective response to that problem? Do you think me making a giant condemnation video cutting off contact would be the best possible response, thus having Shu lose her closest left-leaning friend? Or do you think continuing to be her friend and speaking with her when I have disagreements privately? Which do you think would be better? I mean, there's a correct answer to this. Now, Shu's my friend, and frankly, as by way of friendship, I think that she deserves better treatment. I remember very, very, very early on in my streaming, I was very frustrated because Re-Education had a disagreement with me and my definition of tanky. Rather than DMing me, Re-Education made a call-out video. I thought that I was on good terms with him, so I considered it fairly offensive. The idea that I would be on good terms with a person, but they would defer to public condemnation, or at the very least public shit-stirring, as opposed to addressing me in private was very off to me. Now, I talk to Shu all the time, and when I do, sometimes I bring up disagreements that we have, but you guys don't get to see that, and that's fine. You shouldn't. But the idea that I just let Shu say stuff I disagree with unchecked is completely incorrect. When Shu says stuff that I disagree with, have I ever played it down? Every time she does some Nazbol Vortexy stuff, or does some, like, virtue signaling anti-democrat, that's my only politics position, I always point it out. Or when it's brought up to my, I don't always, like, go out of my way to point it out, but when it's brought up to me, I point out that I dislike it. So the idea that I, like, constantly play defense for Shu is really, really dumb. What you guys actually want me to do is just condemn a person that you don't like, which is very low IQ. And it makes me wonder how many DGG infiltrators there are in here, because Destiny doesn't like Shu, which means that Destiny's fans don't like Shu. Yeah, I'm just, like, friends with her, okay? If we ever have disagreements, I'm happy to have her on. Vosh, some people in the thread were bringing up how you publicly condemned Sean on Twitter, though. What are your thoughts on that? Well, being that I'm not friends with Sean, and I actually quite dislike him, it seems to me that if I have a problem with his takes, the best way for me to handle that would be publicly addressing it. See? Because I have never actually spoken privately to Sean. Never once in my life have I directly engaged with him in any way. You see the difference now? Right? See what I mean? There's a bit of a difference in there, you know? You can playfully bully Shu all you. I would playfully bully the fuck out of Shu if you want to. I'm just saying there are people who think that, like, she's like an enemy of the left, which is very, very strange to me. Are you pushing Shu in the tech censorship thing as least? You have no idea how many times we've talked about that, okay? Bosh, you only give the benefit of the doubt to your friends. No, that's not what I said. I'm going to help you out. I'm going to say this a little bit slower so you can understand. It's not about giving benefit of the doubt. It's about the means by which I can most effectively affect positive change. If I'm a friend with the person, I have the ability to influence them through conversation with them directly. But if I'm both antagonistic towards a person and additionally have no way of directly contacting them, the best way for me to handle problems like that is through my public platform. See? Can you do this to enemies as well? Well, did I not reach out to talk to a number of people formerly associated with the conservative or skeptic community? I make an effort to, whenever I think a person can be move them over, or talk with them in a way which is beneficial or constructive. Do you think that's going to happen with Sean? Do you think I'm going to have, like, a email convo with Sean where we're just going to have some heart-to-heart and he's going to be like, oh, actually, I'm sorry about all the Bernier busting and all the stupid shit I said, and about condemning Lindsay Ellis after she came out with that very long video about her personal abuse, and sorry about all the other stupid Labour bust stuff that I said, except now Labour's bad, so I actually don't care if Corbyn wins again. Like, do you think we're gonna... No, of course not. I try my best to respond proportionally to people with whom I feel I have some disagreements. You know? Hopefully that makes sense to everyone. There was one reply in this thread that was so stupid that it gave me the jitters. That's what it did. Let me see if I can find it. I got the shakes from it a little bit. You know, I had the hands were shaking. I got to calm it down. Could you have Lindsay on? Unfortunately, I don't think Lindsay likes me. She doesn't follow me on Twitter or anything, which is a shame because I feel like she and I would have a lot of positive stuff to talk about. I really, really, really like her positions on media critique. So, you know. Oh yeah, here we go. So I said, because I was angry, you see. It really is incredible how people like you will condemn me for not... Oh, wait, where's the parent comment? Because that's kind of important contextually. I agree about SDL and Shu. I've stopped watching Vosh because they are the exact kind of people he'd make 10 videos about exposing them if they weren't his friends. So this, to me, this comment should have negative 6,000 votes. I'm not entirely sure what happened here. The idea that I would make 10 videos about SDL... Guys, can you remember a single time that I've ever made a video even comparable to the kind of video that I would make about SDL? Or Shu? I guess, I mean, if I wasn't friends with Shu and I had an antagonistic relationship with her, I might make videos critiquing the Nazbo Vortexy type stuff, but, you know. Makes it feel like he's a grifter, too, who just plays fast and loose with his principles. It's a DGG plan, you see. Anyway, I get mad and say, essentially, go fuck yourself. And Tyler McFluffbutt over here, who is banned. My power. Obvious hyperbole, but you've made videos criticizing Sean and others for a hell of a lot less. I disagree, actually. Sean was Bernie or bust. I would say that the Bernie or bust position was incredibly important to publicly challenge. I think that while unfortunate that it had to be a conversation on the left, I think it's incredibly important. Additionally, the fact that Sean has now gone on to make videos about how bad a second Trump presidency could have been after being Bernie or bust during the primary shows to me that he is a spineless rat fuck piece of shit who does not deserve to ever express a political opinion in a public forum. It is impossible for me to describe how little respect I have for him. He spent the entire 6-month lead-up period being blasé about the importance of voting for Biden, and then he comes out with a 1776 video where he's like, thank God we didn't have Trump. If we're in the bad timeline, Trump might have won again. Like, fuck you. Okay, come on. Anyway, and definitely talked unfavorably about left figures like Kyle on stream over even less than that. Disappointing you chose to alienate the minority groups in your audience. This is CIA language, okay? This right here, this is CIA language, okay? This is the same shit that people who don't like me say. That are uncomfortable with the insanely bigoted shit your friends have done in the past that you choose to downplay. So, ContraPoints talked about this in her video, the Contra video on cancellation. But one of the things people like this tend to do is they abstract problems so they can essentialize and exaggerate them as much as possible. So, insanely bigoted shit. The very first time I had Shu on head on stream, or I think the second time actually, the proper conversation that I had with her, didn't we spend like an hour and a half talking about all the horrible shit she used to do and her like profusely explaining and apologizing for it? That's my memory of the situation. Like that gorilla comment that took place like 4 years ago, or being associated with Lauren Southern. I remembered like talking about that at length, but apparently people are always that like I just skipped it on by. I remember talking. Yeah, I just watched it a couple weeks ago and you did. Yeah, I remember doing that. And with SDL, like you're alienating your minority fans, the SDL. What did SDL do? The things that I remember, because it turns out a lot of the creepy stuff was faked, the things I remember were the racist comments, of which they were quite racist. And guys, help me out here. What wasn't proven fake? The chaser shit? I didn't even see any like severe chaser shit. I think most of it ended up being faked. The anti-Semitism was faked, saying the N-word was faked, a lot of the creepy chaser stuff was faked. There was some stuff that was about like weird trans stuff, but that was back when SDL was questioning his gender as well. So it was self-referential. There were some like sexual comments, but in context, they didn't seem really that bad. I mean, I feel like at some point most people say jokes that are sexual. Like I don't think that inherently makes you like a creeper. Um, yeah. We'll hold up some of the anti-Semitism that was real. A little bit. I think most of it was faked. I think the little bit of it was real was jokes or he was talking about like not the JQ stuff. He was talking about some race realism stuff. Do you not just care about the racism then? What do you mean by care about? Let's center you. Hold on, really quickly. Let's center you, LKJHGFDSA, no doubt a longstanding member of the community and a person who cares very much about whether or not they're banned in this platform. Well, I want to talk with you. You say care about. Um, what do you mean by care about? It's a very vague statement. I'd like it if you could elaborate. Do you mean, do I think it's bad or not? Do you mean, do I think he should be run off the platform or not? Could I'm just interested. I want to know. I really don't like comments like that because I didn't say I was okay with it at any point. The real question is, what do we do about it? What do you guys think we should do about it? You just seem kind of ambivalent. Okay, well. See, the problem for me with this whole cancellation stuff is that I'm not an always online fucking idiot. So I can actually tell the difference between racism, which is motivated by being an edgy dipshit, and racism, which is motivated by a deeply held animus against racial minorities. Now, does that mean that racist jokes are okay just because they're part of being an edgy dipshit? No, actually. That doesn't make them okay. But context does matter. Context is actually an essential component. So I'll give you guys an example. Here's how we can tell that context is okay. All right? So, you guys ready for it? Okay? Now, let me ask you guys, which is more racist? Or which deserves greater condemnation? Okay? I'm genuinely curious what your opinion is. Okay? We're going to go one or two once we throw this out. It's going to be one or two. Okay? Which do you consider more racist? Okay? A white leftist in Discord or wherever making a BBC joke, big black cock, something white women, big black dick, white women. Or the second option is a covert white nationalist who's running for Congress saying he wants to keep America's culture clean. I noticed you started saying two before I even began because you understood the rhetorical gambit that I was playing here. But now, by any metric, I think a reasonable person would say the second one is way more racist, harmful, dangerous, even though it doesn't even explicitly evoke race. The reason for that is because we understand that the harm racist comments do is modified, mitigated, or enhanced by the context surrounding it. It's not actually about the words expressed. It's more about the harm it can do. And I'll tell you this much, folks. I would take 1,000 edgy racists who watch too much South Park over one sufficiently intelligent covert racist who placates all their language through dog whistles. I hope we would all agree with that, right? I feel like that's a really, really clear-cut belief, personally. But now, does that mean that what SDL did with regards to the racism is good? No, it doesn't. Absolutely not. Not at all. It was actually quite bad if you look at the comments made. Some of it was pretty darn bad. So what do you want to do about it? Do you want to see what's actually happened to SDL, which is the doxing and the harassment, the being driven off the platform, the et cetera, et cetera? Or do you want him to take a hiatus? Or what's the solution to that? In my mind, the only real solution to this is to recognize that the problematic behavior is largely a product of edgy dipshittery, more so than any deliberate or malicious intent to commit harm. And if that bothers you, and it's totally okay if it does, then you should stop watching SDO. And if it doesn't bother you that much, or if you're willing to give him a second chance, then you should continue watching him and maybe be more critical of pernicious behaviors in the future. I think that's a reasonable way of handling a situation like this. Now, the people online losing their absolute shit, doxing and suggesting that he's a Lockheed Martin plant. This is to me, this is pathological. This is ridiculous. And in situations like this, I am always going to be deferential to the person being canceled because I know how bad you jackals are. Trust me, after what happened to Contra, with what's always happening to me, I am always, at least until the facts are settled, going to be deferential to the person being canceled because almost every time this happens against a leftist, the mob is worse morally than the things they're criticizing by almost an exponential degree. And in this case, I'd say that's the case again. You guys managed to do it. You had a clean opportunity to criticize SDL for some legitimately bad behavior, but the mob acted so badly that I think they've lost the moral high ground, and at this point, I'm more invested in defending SDL, a person who nowadays does really good fact-based leftist content, you know? It's like, gee, you know? Who's SDL? Soaked on left. That makes sense, though, right? Anyway, I hope everyone understands my perspective on this. There are a lot of people who are just going to rage and hate SDL. Keep in mind, most of the hate directed his way came from tankies who were also explicitly homophobic, and so on and so forth, which is not good, you know. This is a problem with internet misinfo. Context can never be preserved when sharing 1,000 times recursively. Well, yeah, there's a number of problems at hand here. A lot of it is also just you guys hate winning. People on the right don't do this as much. When there's some cancel info out on the right, they tend to consolidate and defend. But when people on the left get canceled, even the fans of the person who got canceled hold their breath and clutch their pearls and wait for the worst faith actors on the left to do all of their dirty work. And only then do they walk on the burnt, salted battlefield afterwards to levy out like public support or what have you. And Merrick, I already mentioned that. What do you think of the apology stream? It was fine. You know what? None of you watched the apology stream. I watched the apology stream. None of the people who watched the apology stream actually commented on it. You know why? Because most of the people who quote tweeted SDO when he made that tweet made comments that were directly, singularly addressed by the actual apology stream. Jesus. Update on Soaked on Left. His dad and grandfather worked for weapon contractors. Yeah, this is like, I don't think this is true, by the way. I saw some debunk on this, but like, oh my god. Yeah, it's like crazy, crazy, crazy shit. I feel like losing it. And like, oh god, 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 god. Absolutely, absolutely deranged. Nonsensical. Excuse me. Why do the very same people get outraged about poverty jokes or jokes about poor people? This isn't the only cancellation we're going to talk about today. Actually, my good friends, we're going to talk about some other wonderful stuff. We're going to have lots of fun today. Oh, wait, hold on. We have to talk about another. Wait, hold on. This is for comedy purposes. Where is the my cancellation thread? The most recent one. Come on. Somebody posted somewhere. Was it on my subreddit? This one was very good, I think. Yeah, that one was funny, okay? One of you has it. Come on. Oh, there we go. Thank you. Yeah, there was a Destiny Reddit thread on it. Let's poison the well a little bit, huh? So it got posted to Destiny's subreddit, and here are the top comments. None of this is cancelable unless you're permanently online. Wait. Let's scroll down. None of the stuff he said here is a problem. Yeah, like, okay, hold on. This is really, really good. I poisoned the water hole. Yes, it's from the Yiddish Butch account. I don't know. I think at some point here there's something not safe for work, so I don't want to show it. Wait, hold on. Here's some things I've been canceled for. Okay, wait. Here's the tweet. Okay, the tweet says, you know what? We're just gonna show it. Fuck it. Gonna start with this anti-Semitism content warning. Obviously, I can't be anti-Semitic. I've had sex with a Jew. Who here has didn't not sex with Jew? Beep boop. I wish Jews were communist. Most I know are center left at best. It's from 2017. There's my anti-Semitism. All right, hold up. Okay? Everyone get ready for some serious transphobia, transmisogyny, trans fetishism. Okay? Is this, wait, can I show, wait, hold on. Can I show it? Wait, hold on. I can, right? Okay, I can. It's just, I just gotta make sure. Okay, hold on. I recently had a trans boy who had like a butthole tight pussy, though. I love trans porn. Trans girls are generally thirsty. If you disagree with this, you've never interacted. Plus, I like smacking my big manly penis against inferior trans girl penises. I liked this one because this got screenshotted by some trans accounts that I follow. And it was just people agreeing with the sentiment presented here. Oh, yeah, no harassing anyone here. I'll ban any one of you who harasses this thread, okay? I'll permaban you from my community, okay? What if the girl penises are bigger? Well, then I guess you reverse the rules, okay? Here, wait, hold on. Content warning. More trans misogyny and fetishism, not safe for work. Genital mention. Normally, I'd say 9 inches before it starts to look colossal, but one time I fucked a trans girl with an 8-inch dick, and she was small, so it looked enormous. Pretty wild. There's the trans misogyny on display here. You're really laying it out. Oh, and here's, this was my hit single back in 2019. Don't forget, black people exist. Black people are real. 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 If done to the proper beat, yeah, there you go. I think the beat was like, black people are real. Black people exist, which they do. And anyone who disagrees with that is racist. So I don't know. Well, okay, let's just move over this career. Here's what I'm getting canceled for. Oh, fuck, this black chick just sat down at the table next to me and she's thick as fuck. It's anti-black. It all goes on like this, by the way. This is the thrust. The whole thread is like this. Hold on. Wait. Wait, hold on. Content warning. Anti-black racism. Fetishization, not safe for genital mention. Wait, which one is it? This guy's disgusting. Most of the people I've fucked have been black or Latinx. You're right, this is disgusting, okay? I would never use the term Latinx now. Latine? I would never use this now, okay? This is unacceptable. And I appreciate the calling out here. Did you lose your virginity, black person? Yeah, I did. So there's that. No. Wait, it keeps going back. Hold on. He enjoys doing this weird bit where I say I'm black. Look, I voted for Biden back in the 2008 primaries, okay? I was just ahead of my time. I don't know what to say. I'm sorry. Those are fake. No, this is all real. Hold on. I know only one Muslim girl, and she's really nice and has big titties, so I'm okay with Islam. Just how I formed my political opinions back then. Joking about incest porn. Oh, wait, hold on. Okay, this is the funniest one, by the way, to me. Of all of them, okay? This is the funniest one to me of all of them. Get ready for this, okay? This is incredible. Content warning. Not safe for work. Fetishization. This is... ... This is what you're about to see is really going to blow you away. It's a chubby anime girl with a squishy belly and a cow t-shirt. And she's getting tickled by squishing the belly. And then I said, this isn't porn, but she's so squishy. It's a really cute drawing, you know. I mean, she does indeed look very squishy. Yeah, so anyway. Trans girls are thirsty was honestly bad. Well, just sounds like you haven't been in a lot of trans communities. No, anyway, the cancellation stuff is definitely running a little bit thin these days. Yeah, anyway, that's are we done with it? No, it goes on forever. Oh my god, wait. No, wait. This is my favorite one. This is my favorite one of all. Okay? Are you guys ready for it? This is my favorite one of all. Okay? Oh yeah. Just your classic extremely not safe for work message without warning in a safe for work channel with minors in it. And it's me typing big cocks coming in Gen Chat late last year. Think of the children. Now there's a punchline to all of this. And the punchline is that right after this thread came out, I, no shit, lost between 600 and 1,000 YouTube subscribers. So apparently I have some very humorless fans, or maybe there are people in my community who just didn't believe I was black or what. No, I'm not kidding. Yeah. Yeah, those of you who saw on Social Play was that dip. Like, okay, all right. I don't know what to do with these people, man. Oh, God. That's really funny. So optics don't matter anymore. We can defend someone for being blatantly racist because you made edgy jokes in the past, or because they're on our team. How does this help the movement optically speaking? What did a monkey type this? Like with a typewriter? What? What? Hey, you know what makes the left look really bad optically? Anytime here, okay, wait, I'm gonna be really real with you guys, okay? Anytime on the left somebody engages in a level of edginess comparable to your average 14-year-old white boy, not only does the entire online left lose its shit, dox and harass them, and then dox their family, speculate about their family heritage, and try to destroy their life, but a Vice article gets written about the situation. Optically, that's not great, you know? God, if can you imagine, like, if leftists on Twitter went outside, like, all the shit they'd see outside? Like, oh my God. If they went to, like, a bowling alley and overheard a conversation for 5 minutes, they'd be calling the fucking police. Jesus Christ. You know? That's not to say, by the way, that the STL shit wasn't racist. It is. Just like, Jesus fuck, dude. The disproportional reaction. Can we not be a little chill about this shit? When I think of something that makes me actually want to cancel a person, like really cancel, I think of two potential things. Harmful political expression, as that is to say, if SDL started expressing racist political beliefs on stream with the intent of convincing other people of those positions, that would be serious. Or B, actual harm. And by actual harm, I don't mean people who are hurt by seeing mean things online. I mean like an actual direct and deliberate effort to hurt people, either physically or by using their platform to directly harm people, you know, that kind of thing. Those are the or like doxing, for example. Those are standards that would make me like really start to reconsider stuff. But like shitty, racist, edgy jokes, this doesn't say they're not bad. It's just like, Jesus. Stop the hate. How do we solve the Twitter mob issue? There's no real way to solve it except for getting bigger than them, you know? Yeah, I'm just jealous STL got a Vice article before I did. I hope you guys like that cancellation thread on me, because that is legitimately the funniest shit I've ever seen in my life. You know, I didn't actually read the Vice article. Over the weekend, online leftists leaked racist and anti-Semitic Discord messages posted by Soaked on Left. Wasn't the anti-Semitic thing just saying Jews suck up neurons by white people or something like that? Wasn't that the real one? Isn't that pro-Semitic? Technically? Oh, to make their tits big, sorry. Yeah, to inject them into their tits. Yeah. Truly when I think of the face of modern anti-Semitism, I think Discord messages of people making jokes about Jews having big tits. Okay. Well, Soaked on Left not only pushes for progressive policy, the leaked Discord messages, which include dozens of overtly racist comments about black people, anti-Semitic conspiracy theories, and Islamophobia, show the public... Okay, I'm going to be real, all right? This person should never be allowed to write again. I take journalism seriously, conceptually. I knew journalism majors back in college, all right? If you're weaponizing the legitimacy of a news platform to engage in the kind of journalism I would expect from a fucking Twitter thread, this is disgusting, okay? This person should not be allowed to write on shit. On fucking Vice as well? Jesus. Did this person even reach out to Soaked on Left? You know, the thing that every journalist is supposed to do? Every time there's a story broken, you always try to do that? No? Of course not. Why are we talking about Destiny? This happened in Destiny Discord channel. Destiny, who identifies liberal, has his politics come into question when he... Wait, why are we talking about Destiny here? What? Did the Richard Wolff debate? And that's exactly the point. For years, people online have been making horribly racist, sexist, homophobic, and other bigoted jokes under the guise that they're just trolling or shitposting. The problem is these jokes come at the expense of the people they're talking about. Okay. It's time for a segment, baby. Oh, it's time for a segment. Listen up, people. There's something the online left has forgotten, okay? Ancient knowledge, all right? You guys played Warhammer 40k? You know how the Adeptus Mechanicus are always trying to dig up ancient forbidden technology on lost worlds to recover Imperial tech from 10,000 years ago? That's what we're about to discover, okay? We're the Adeptus Mechanicus, and we're on planet Epsilon 96b38472, all right? And we're digging a big hole, all right? And we found something, okay? And the thing that we found is a little sheet of paper, okay? And the sheet of paper says in cursive with... It starts with one of those really big letters, like the block print letters that they used for medieval writing, okay? The letter says this, okay? Context matters. That's what the letter says. And the Omni priest holding it up, immediately their hands start shaking, and a fucking Inquisitorium from outer orbit fires an ion cannon to destroy the forbidden knowledge. Yeah, no, instantly, fucking Exterminatus, the planet's atmosphere is ignited as an orbital bombardment. This is... I don't know why the left has given up on this. I don't know why the left has given up on this, okay? So, because this won't be... The context won't be visible in the segment that I'm cutting out right now, okay? We're going over STL's horrible behavior, which turns out a lot of it was faked, and the stuff that actually is bad was overblown, as always. And, there's a bit down here that says, okay, for years, people online have been making horribly racist, sexist, homophobic, and other bigoted jokes under the guise that they're just trolling or shitposting. The problem is these jokes come at the expense of the people they're talking about. So I was around 4 or 5 years ago, and I remember the beginning of this argument, or at least the most recent incursion of this argument at the time, okay? And the argument was this, okay? The internet was full of people who were really racist. Like, really racist, okay? The internet was just chock full of people who were it still is. And they would always say, when challenged on it, that they were just making jokes. But the jokes they were making were just racism expressed humorously, okay? Now, I think a problem that leftists have is that they overcompensated on the point of an initial argument. They pivoted too hard, okay? So here's the conversation that would always take place, okay? All right? A racist person would say something racist. They would say something like, I'm not even going to speculate. You can picture it in your head because I don't want to get clipped. You know how it is. And they would say something racist, and then a left-leaning person would say, hey, yo, that's racist. And the racist person would say, of course, well, that was a joke. You need to look at the context. And then the left-leaning person would say, the context didn't matter. You still said the racist thing. And that was never an excellent argument to begin with, but I feel like we've carried it through to a point now where people on the left have legitimately forgotten whether and to what extent context influences a message's delivery. Okay? I'll give you an example. The attack helicopter joke. Somebody just typed it up, or somebody just posted it in chat, okay? This was a really, really common one, okay? Somebody would make an attack helicopter joke. I identify as an attack helicopter, which, as we all know, it was funny for like 2 days, but then it was exclusively used as a transphobic joke, and so on and so forth. And from that point forward, anytime a person would make that joke, a left-leaning person would criticize it, the right-leaning person would say, it's just a joke, the left-leaning person would say, well, it doesn't matter that it was a joke, it's still racist. That's the problem, though. That's not the correct argument. Because as it turns out, the problem there isn't that jokes don't absolve the underlying message. It's that the joke didn't... The fact that it was a joke didn't make it not transphobic. But you can say a thing that stops being bigoted once you realize it's a joke. Or, in context, because it is a joke. Have you ever listened to a trans person talk about trans people? Now, I don't mean Blaire White. I mean a proper, progressive, left-leaning trans person. Have you heard the jokes they tell? Seriously. Have you heard the jokes they tell? My God. Okay? And I have a lot of trans friends. And when I'm in the company of those trans friends, sometimes I will also make those jokes. There's no harm done. I'm with friends. And the reason those jokes are funny is because, and this is the key point here, none of the people hearing or expressing them are transphobic. That's what makes it funny. A good portion of humor is exactly knowing your audience. And in certain contexts, the presentation of a particular piece of information can be less or more racist than it is elsewise. I can give you another example, okay? I have many a times gone on protracted rants about the need to purify American culture, okay? Hello, Gale. This has happened in my friend group many times. Usually it is in reference to the Italians. I don't always specify that I'm talking about the Italians. I think that contextually, however, it is very apparent. Now, if you were to screenshot some of these screeds and post them out of context online, it would unironically look like I am giving a race realist or like an ethno-nationalist argument. The context absolves it. One of the problems that I have with the current trend of online cancellations is that when you screenshot one particular message, you completely eradicate all of the adjacent context that may that may exonerate or even make the content progressive. So, a classic example of this is mockery. Sometimes people will pantomime the actions of bigots to mock them. Every bread tuber has done this. There are Sean and Jen. Sean has done this. H Bomber Guy has done this. ContraPoints has done this. Lindsay Ellis has done this. If you take segments of their videos, I'm talking 5, 10, 15 seconds long, where they're imitating the behavior of a conservative and just post them out of context, and you knew nothing else about that person. Yeah, PhilosophyTube as well. And you knew nothing else about that person. They would look like a conservative. They would look quite racist, actually. I once did an entire stream on April Fool's 2020 where I pretended to be an ethno-nationalist. That was the April Fool's joke. It ran dry after 30 minutes because people in chat were taking me seriously. It's not a good joke, but I'm amazed none of the clips from that stream have made it online yet, by the way. You'd think that would have been prime clipping material, but... seriously, I have no idea how... I'll have to answer for that one eventually, okay? This happens all the time. Jokes made in small communities, jokes made amongst friends, which, from an outside perspective, stripped of all context, look bad, but are actually quite progressive if inserted into their proper context. Now, I know what you're thinking right now. When we're talking about, like, oh, it's just a joke defenses, we're not talking about tiny little comments made in private circles. We're talking about public statements. And if you say a public statement that is hateful or racist, the fact that it is a joke does not exonerate it. And there is some truth to that, but it's also kind of bullshit. Here's the real question, okay? If a person makes a comment that comes off as bigoted, and you say that's bigoted, and they say that's just a joke, you know what you need to say? What's the joke? Because if you ask a left-leaning person that question, they'll give you an answer. Like Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle's made a lot of jokes that if done by a white guy with conservative leanings would not look great. You ask Dave Chappelle, what was the joke there? When you said that thing about black people, what was the joke there? Go watch the Boondocks. Black writers, right? At least most, I think. The Boondocks had black writers, right? Most, yeah. I think so. I'm pretty sure they did. There's a lot of shit in the Boondocks that I can't say. A lot of jokes, a lot of characters, a lot of moments. Blank moment. Y'all remember that bit? That I can't say it. I can't. They did. You remember? Yeah. You remember. You remember. Yeah, there you go. Thanks for typing out what I can. The N-word moment. Yeah. Now, if you went up to those writers and you asked them, what was the joke? They'll give you an answer. They'll give you an answer. Every time they'll give you an answer. And the joke is never going to be, oh, well, I just think black people are kind of stupid. No, they'll give you a good answer. And I've seen some of the behind-the-scenes interviews, the writers, the voice actors for the Boondocks, and if you actually listen to them talk about it, there is an insane amount of thought put into the delivery of jokes, which are, at their face, pretty goddamn racist. Now, there are conservatives, alt-writers, because conservatives don't understand satire, who watch that content, and they agree with it because they're very smooth brains. All the nuance and context just blasts right off it. And you can have conversations about good or bad satire, or whether or not humor is being employed responsibly. I think that's really, really important. But then we say, okay, well, we're not just talking about well-constructed racial jokes or jokes about trans people that end up being non-bigoted through explanation. What we're talking about right now is just jokes where the joke is racism. That's what we're talking about right now, okay? What about then? Does context matter there? Does a joke really absolve it? And I would answer, yeah, it does. It definitely does. And I'm going to play a little bit out to bat here. We're soaked on left. Said some racist stuff. Let me find a racist thing, okay? I'll get canceled over this. That's fine. But I think this is an illustrative example, okay? Are you guys ready for it? Illustrative example. Let me see what the best conceivable shot for this would be. Yeah, all right. Let's do it, okay? Now, I guess since I'm not clipping any other portion of this, Soaked on Left did say a lot of real racist stuff, okay? We're going to see some real racist stuff right now, okay? I'm going to let you soak it in for a second. Look at that. Never let it be said when I whitewash. Ha! The severity. I'm not saying this, by the way. I'm not having this clipped audibly. No, I kind of have to say it because some people just listen to the podcast, don't they? Okay, all right. Blacks have big lips because they need more surface area when they suck a homie's big black cock. Blacks and guns cause deaths. Now, I can run through the cycle on this one a little bit. The joke here is racism. And that's true. I think Soaked on Left even acknowledges this in the live stream that he did. The joke here is racism. You'd say, oh, well, it's a joke. Okay, well, it's the joke. The joke is racism. That's the joke. See. You all understand, yes? So, yes, this is from 2 years ago. So, not that makes it good or fine. So, this is from about 2 years ago, I think. It is racist. It's from April 1st. Look at the date. Don't spoil, please. One thing at a time. You know, it's funny that I just mentioned the 2020 April Fool's bit that I did, where I pretended to be a ethno-nationalist. You know, I wonder how much that's going to be exonerated by context. Of course, anyone in my community watching that live stream would have saw it, and at least I hope they would have recognized that this was part of a bit. Now, the context that Soaked on Left has provided here is that these were screenshotted from a broader conversation where Soaked on Left was making fun of race realists. Now, I want you all to squeeze your brains for a second. Can you do that with me? I want to engage in a little bit of analytical interpretation. We're going to do something that literature students do. Okay? Can you? Yeah, this you know, like rub your brain a little bit. Okay? Squeezing brain hurts. That means you're doing it right. Keep squeezing. Okay? Keep squeezing the brain. No popping. Keep squeezing. Okay? So I want your genuine opinions on this. Now, imagine you're watching a stream of mine, and I'm going over some crazy race realist video, and I'm making fun of them. And while making fun of them, I put on a silly voice, like, this is my silly voice. And then I say these things out loud. Now, that would more or less exonerate me in context, wouldn't it? Because the joke would be that I'm ascribing silly positions to a person I'm making fun of. Admittedly, this is playing it pretty close to the vest, even for me, but in context, it would be fairly exonerated. At least I would believe that. That would be my opinion. Now, Soaked on Left has said that this was done during a broader conversation making fun of race realists, which exonerates a little bit. The fact that it's on April Fools may or may not alleviate it. I don't like April Fools being used as an excuse because you can get away with saying any old shit, can't you? You know what I mean? I mean, it's like a whole day to just say dumb shit. Like, all right, okay. But let me take the least charitable position, okay? I want to take the least charitable position possible, and then I want to distinguish it from what I would consider to be malicious racism. Let's imagine that there is no exonerating context here. This is a joke, that this was said jokingly, but the joke is just racism. That's it. In the second comment here, Soaked on Left was being blasé about socioeconomic issues that lead to black-on-black violence. And in the first one, it was just him making a joke about black people's lips and dicks. And that's it. That's just a comment about, that's it, you know? Under those circumstances, do you all find, and I'm genuinely asking, there to be any meaningful difference between these types of statements, which seem to be shock, humor, racism, and the types of statements that an actual race realist would make with regards to these basic sentiments, black-on-black violence and phenotypical black characteristics? I'm actually asking. Some people seem to be really divided on this. Somebody said there's a huge difference. I see people saying, no, not really. You're all waiting for my answer. I see. Put a poll up. I want to see. Yes, no. Come on. Remember, in situation one, with Soaked on Left, we're talking about shock humor being done by a generally left-leaning creator. And in the second instance, we're talking about these sentiments being expressed unironically, not as a joke, by a known race realist. Is there a difference there? I see that number climbing a little bit, huh? See that number climbing a little bit. What's the question? Pay attention to the fucking stream, you idiot. What, it's like 20 seconds? You can't pay it. You can't follow. How do you watch anything that I do? Jesus, God Almighty. They're mad. I'm working. Stop working. Pay attention. There are a lot of people who engage in edgy shock humor that is undeniably and objectively racist, that then later go on to think, oh God, that was racist, and then they stop doing it. This does not happen with people who unironically express these sentiments. People who would say stuff like this, not as a joke, are usually very dug into incredibly far-right positions that are virtually impossible to be pulled out of. People who say this as a joke can be anything from conservative to a politically neutral South Park watching edgelord. And my God, I remember the types of jokes that I made back in high school, okay? I know for a fact that it is entirely possible, excessively possible even, to say pretty racist stuff because you're trying to be like shock humor, you know, you're trying to be ahead of the curve, trying to push the envelope, and then to go on and think about it for like 2 seconds and think, oh, wait, that was racist. And then like, yeah, I know people can do that. We're really talking then about the extent to which these logs reflect on a person's moral character and the extent to which they do harm to the world. The extent to which they do harm to the world is largely determined by the size of their platform and how seriously people take these statements. I doubt Soaked Unleft said this in a way that made the people around him take this especially seriously 2 years ago, but that could just be a guess on my part. And in terms of personal moral culpability, the fact that it's dumb fuck shock humor does make it quite a bit better, at least in my mind, than an actual and deliberate effort to disseminate race realist propaganda. Does that make it good? Nah, it's still racist. But the context does matter. Does anyone really disagree with that? There are people in chat who keep arguing against a position that I don't believe. There are people in chat who keep saying, okay, but it's still bad though. How many times have I said that in this conversation? How many times need I say that? That's the kind of nuance that I want people to take on issues like this. Because if you want to hold people accountable, you can't do that unless you actually know what the problem is. And a lot of people don't. There are a lot of people on the left whose obvious unawareness of the situation leads to them making incredibly blanket statements like, the people you hurt, the harm you've caused. Well, okay, what harm? I cause harm when I drive down to the grocery store and spew carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, okay? What harm? What are we talking about? And most importantly, how do we address it? As a leftist, it is my prerogative to ensure more people become leftists, and I would not be capable of doing that if I thought that the best way to handle edgy racist shock humor was the same way that you would best handle actual race realism disseminated by propagandists. These are two entirely different situations. These are not to be handled in the same way. Not even close. Christ. You're going to write off a huge portion of the population, a very decent portion, mind you. Young, stupid, maybe, but everyone can learn if you take that position. Can you just not make jokes on stream anymore? If we stop making jokes on stream, and if we stop making jokes publicly, we cede ground to the worst part of the left, the part that doxed SDL, the part that speculated about his family life, the part that have bullied him and harassed him in an attempt to get him off the internet, the parts that have said that they want him to kill himself. We cede territory to them. So let's not do that, actually. If a person does something bad, there are better ways to handle it than joining into the big indiscriminate mob of dipshits whose primary problem with SDO was, let's be totally real here, the fact that he wasn't a tanky. How does Count Dankula fit into this equation? Count Dankula doesn't fit into it because he's not joking. Count Dankula's entire platform and political like orbit is completely made up of people who are on board with reactionary and conservative positions. I remember that the juxtaposition between those two tweets, because he's always like, this is a joke, this is a joke. He tweeted once a joke where he said essentially a progressive statement, like pro-trans people, and his entire community was like, this is bait, fuck you, this isn't real. But when he makes race realism jokes, his audience is like, bro, base 1350. So like, okay, jokes, sure, whatever, have fun. And that's a situation where even a passing familiarity with context can be really, really helpful in identifying the harm that people do. But if you ignore all of that and just all statements are what they are with no surrounding context, then you lose the ability to best challenge anything that's going on right now. Do you agree he shouldn't have been arrested? Why are we talking about Cantankerous? No, of course not. You shouldn't be arrested for YouTube videos. What's the best way to denormalize racist jokes in online spaces in the name of edgelord culture? Are you guys ready for it? The best way to denormalize racist jokes, the online left is bad about this, okay? The best way to denormalize edgy jokes, edgy racist jokes, is to give them different edgy jokes to make. There are a lot of people in the online left who are like, you need to call it out when you see it. And yeah, sure, but edgy boy's gonna edgy boy. That's a part of humanity, baby. That's not going away. Give them something else edgy to talk about. Make them edgy about class issues. Make them edgy about eating the rich. If people are going to make edgy jokes, I would way rather than be prejudiced against the United States of America, the police, the military, or wealth than I would then be prejudiced against like black people or trans people. Give them other material. That's the whole point of the dirtbag left, isn't it? Except I feel like I'm the only person part of the dirtbag left who meant that as I'm in favor of pulling over these groups of people, and a lot of other people seem to think the dirtbag left means being like Bernie or bust or some shit. I don't know. Do you not think eat the rich makes socialists look worse? If you had to choose between a 14-year-old saying eat the rich and a 14-year-old saying attack helicopter jokes, I would choose them saying eat the rich. That's my personal opinion. Maybe we can sand a little bit more nuance into their positions with time, but if I have to make that hard line choice about stupid, discriminatory, edgy jokes being made, I'd rather those stupid, edgy, discriminatory jokes be made against power groups, you know? Now, are there better ways to handle that? Sure, but the question is how accurately and how coordinatedly, how well coordinated, can you adjust the behavior of like teenagers? Not very well. Like a herd of animals they are. Is Eat the Rich really considered edgy? There's been some notable discourse around it lately. Discourse which I have absolutely no interest in. All right, hold on. Dylan! You were supposed to be here an hour ago, Dylan. That's right. Shame. I honestly feel like you give edgy white boys a little too much slack, and I feel like you do it because there's so many of them, and that's the thing I don't like. Racist jokes, one thing placating the base that uses them because they're numerous is worse, I feel like. I'm not placating, I'm trying to change that base. You can sit and sulk about the existence of edgy white boys all you want, but at the end of the day, they're either going with us or they're going with the far right. I would rather engage in behavior that allows them to join us. And, I mean, it's not like we're making any conciliatory gestures towards the right here. We're not making the left any more dangerous by pushing kids away from making edgy jokes about trans people. I feel like that makes things better for everyone, doesn't it? What are the thoughts of your sub making white genocide slash gulag jokes? Oh, we'll get there. Ah, you overslept. I see, Dylan. Well, hold on. I mean, is their edginess not already influenced by the far right? I feel it would be difficult to bring them over. If you really think it's difficult to push, like, young people over to the left just because the right is better at early edgy humor, why wouldn't you just get better at edgy humor yourself? I mean, do you want to lose? Like, oh, just like there's tens of millions of people. They're like a little edgy. Well, it's over. Come on. Our forefathers were running around with like union pamphlets, like shoving them through chimneys to try and get as many workers on board as possible. We can put a little bit of effort in how we move people over. All right.
Hello.
Yo,
Sorry I'm late. I didn't sleep for 48 hours and then I just passed out.
cringe. Hey, congratulations on coming out and on your university admission.
Thank you. When I came out as gay, they were like, fuck, now I have to let him in.
Gotta get that woke idpol stuff, you know?
Hell yeah.
Speaking of woke idpol, I hear that a group of dastardly SJWs at the White House are trying to rewrite history by acknowledging the Armenian genocide. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, they should have just accepted last year's statement from Erdogan when he said it was a shared pain. They should have just accepted that. Obviously, Turkish people and all the people of Turkey shared an equal amount of pain during those events, obviously.
You know what's really funny?
Mhm.
You know how conservatives are always deflecting off America's sins by pointing out that other parts of the world are worse on most progressive issues?
Yeah.
I'm not saying the deflection is valid, but oh my god, it feels like they're right sometimes. I took a look at some of the, Turkish discourse on the Armenian genocide, and they're full on, like, it didn't happen, but I wish it did. Fuck those Armenians. Like, oh my god, you know? And, like, the Japanese, too. Like, it feels like, are we in the upper quartile of genocide acceptance in this country? Is the rest of the world somehow worse than we are? That's incredible.
Some nations, when it comes to stuff like this, most certainly. Turkey would be one of those nations when it comes to this. Obviously, when it comes to the United States, there's certain, we can look at like media around Native Americans when it comes to like, oh, everything was wonderful, like media or like Song of the South, that type of stuff, which indoctrinated us to look at historical events in the United States with a more smiley face. And a lot of that similar stuff occurs in Turkey when it comes to the rule of the Ottoman Empire and the rule shortly after the Ottomans collapsed that led to stuff like the the fallout.
Yeah, that's true. If we officially recognize the genocide of the natives, there would probably be a bunch of rednecks
Like
replying to
we've
Biden's
seen a
tweet.
few Steven Crowder videos. Like
Yeah.
he instead of like a cop coming out to put his leg on his neck in a really like soft fashion to make it look completely like some pussy shit. Instead, it would be like, this guy's about to hand me a blanket. Nothing's gonna happen.
Yeah, it'd be. See, all right, guys, here we are. We got my Asian lawyer here with me, and we're gonna test this smallpox blanket thing. Say, hand me a blanket. Cough on it. Yeah, hang it. Yeah, okay. Look at that. I'm fine. Like, yeah, there we go.
Exactly.
Didn't even happen.
No millions dead. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, this is actually a really big thing. Obama actually didn't do it. Trump specifically didn't do it even after a bill passed the House and Senate to basically declare this as a genocide, and that was to keep good relations with Turkey. Similarly, you would expect his pullout from northeastern Syria was similarly in that vein.
Mhm.
So Biden is the first president to take this like big step of recognition of the Armenian people's pain during the events of the Armenian genocide, where estimated 600,000 to 1.5 million Armenians were slaughtered.
Yeah, it's a pretty big number. I was, I guess, interested knowing a little bit more about this because from an American perspective, the Armenian genocide, it's like, I mean, we're not really taught it. It's not really relevant to our history, and nobody really cares. But not in like the Americans don't care about the Armenian sense. It's just more. It's not an issue. It would be like being taught about a genocide like in 14th century China. You know, it's not even an issue that we're made to give any political position on it. But apparently, some people care about it quite a bit.
So yeah, basically, it was during World War One, right? And the way the Turkish like government kind of throws it is like some rebellious Armenians worked with the Russian enemies to destroy the Ottoman Empire, but brave Ottomans went into Anatolia. They went into the highlands. We won't call it the Armenian highlands. We don't want to disgrace the highlands, and destroyed the evil rebels and well, still lost, but they fought bravely. That's the Turkish perspective. What really happened is, yes, there was a Russian invasion in the area. The amount of, I think, alliance with the Russian government is a lot of times overestimated, even though, of course, with the oppression that the Armenians face, there were some people that welcomed the invading army, some probably who participated, but not nearly to the estimates that the Ottoman government like pushes. In fact, a lot of people estimate that it was the Ottoman government's brutality that pushed the few who did into the arms of the Russian government. And then they basically took part in a slaughter campaign where 600,000 to 1.5 million died between 1915 and 1917. And here's a famous quote, which I think a lot of people, and I see this a lot from an American perspective in the comments, like, wow, Biden's doing this instead of, I don't know, getting my car insurance policy, like some random issue, right? Like,
well, it feels like a
doing
fairly
this?
snap judgment to make here. You know, I understand that prior to this point, the Armenian genocide has been broadly referred to by previous presidents as like an atrocity or like a bad thing, but they've
Obama
stayed
used
away.
the Armenian term to use it, which like called it the Great Calamity.
They've stayed away from the
Yeah.
term genocide because I imagine that recognizing the existence of a genocide has broader political implications that Turkey did not want, so the Americans have been respectful of that relationship.
It really pisses off Turkish ultranationalists. And in Turkey, if you've ever looked at a comment section under anything about Erdogan, there is a lot of Turkish ultranationalists. I remember, I mean, like, breaking news, 20,000 people on Twitter spamming the Turkish flag has repealed Joe Biden's declaration of genocide. If you ever look at like the comment section about anything bad Turkey's ever done, you'll see a bunch of people saying Turkey's strong. It could even, I remember there was this very famous post where somebody like talked about a Turkish airstrike killing Syrian children, and someone under it, of course, being like, Turkey's strong, good airstrike. Like no matter what it is, there'll just be somebody in there to barrel in to like wave the Turkish flag, you know? Just, I mean, Joe Biden, after announcing this, made a tweet about like, it is funny, but also like really sad when like somebody like is trying to describe a tragedy that like Kurdish people have faced or something like that, and the reaction they get is "fuck you, cockroach, Turkey strong."
Well,
right?
no, it's funny because the racism seems so quaint. So this is the way I think of it, okay? I'm so used to the types of racism we see here in America. We all know how our racial dynamics function. And over in Europe, they're a little dissimilar. Obviously, they have stronger opinions on Romani people. They have stronger opinions, I think, on Muslims at the moment, broadly, or at least refugee Muslims. But they're similar, you know? But then there are parts of the world where they have racial opinions that are so different from ours. They have all these ethnic and nationalistic conflicts. And it's funny because I have to chuckle and remember that, like, to your average dumbfuck American, they're just all brown people. It's like it's like, oh, cute, they're fighting amongst themselves too. It really is like an infinite fractal, you know? Because if you sent an average American tourist over there, they'd look at a Turkish person and, you know, an Armenian person and just like chuckle while like sipping from a beer can, like, all right, whatever. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
You know, go for it. Okay, you crazy kids. Like it's like, oh God. And then, but sometimes the way they carry, and it's so serious, you know what I mean? All these little countries compared to us.
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess from I mean, not a lot of Americans understand foreign policy. So, like, from an ignorant American's perspective, that's just the world. Like, it's like the Hank Hill scene. Chinese or Japanese, right? Like, Americans like don't understand the deep complexities of these like ethnic or cultural conflicts that go back generations. And when it comes to like the Ottoman Empire or Turkey and Erdogan and his struggle with the Kurds and the Kurdish struggle for independence and statehood, or Armenia's current struggle with Azerbaijan, and of course its historical struggle with Turkey broadly when it comes to issues like this. Yeah, Americans don't understand these conflicts. They just see them all kind of as foreigners. I think a lot of it you can point to the ignorance around after 9/11 on how Americans were just ready to gobble up the idea that agents of Saddam Hussein met with people in Prague of the Al-Qaeda government. Yep, Saddam Hussein were invading. What? 9/11. Even though it had nothing to do with 9/11. But officials in the Bush administration.
Well, I'm not speaking positively of your average American's familiarity with foreign policy. I only mean,
of course.
In a way, it's kind of humbling that it seems like every community, every group of nations and ethnicities on Earth all seem to be, at least in some way or another, absolutely committed to some exclusionary worldview, and theirs differ from ours. And all of our differences may even seem relatively, you know, meaningless in their eyes, too.
I think a good way to look at it is the way we see
big
all
universe.
the way we see a lot of like other nations like racism and bigotry, and we're like, that's the stupidest shit on the planet, is the same way that they probably view our racism and bigotry. And I think it's a good way to like look from the outside in. It's the same way I suggest people look at rioting. If anybody ever looks at like rioting in Hong Kong or rioting in Lebanon, the people in America's first thing is like, hell yeah, they have the right to riot. Their government has completely failed them. There's a lack of democracy in Hong Kong and Lebanon, that corrupt system. Oh, have you seen what Hezbollah's done with its own standing arm? And like everybody's for it. Then you look at America and it's like, everyone needs to calm down. Everyone needs to stop, not understanding that you need to deal with the issues if you actually want to stop this rioting.
We do the exact same thing too. Because there are Americans who will be like, Japan won't even officially recognize the rape of Nanjing? Okay, sure. All right, Japan, have fun. And then they're like, no, we didn't genocide the natives.
1619 project.
Yeah, exactly. And meanwhile, in Turkey, they're probably like, yes, of course, America should pay reparations to, people of color. They have mistreated. And then, no, there was no genocide of the Syrians. So, like, I don't know. It's really dumb. It's soy faces all around, isn't it?
Here's a quote that I want to throw out there. And it was a week before Hitler invaded Poland. He said, "Who, after all, speaks today of the annihilation of the Armenians?" So when people talk about like the importance of declarations like this and historical remembrance of what happened, the first thing before any healing can really begin is recognition that an event occurred. That's before people can start to heal, start to take any policy recommendations that could possibly be to heal this. And at this point, I don't know what policy recommendations could be done. I don't see the Turkish government in any point in the near future paying anyone reparations for what occurred in 1915 to 1917.
Yeah, every time I learn something about Turkey, I feel like they're turning the cringe factor up quite a bit. I mean,
yeah, Erdogan is particularly terrible.
Yeah, with Rojava as well, with them like immediately taking the opportunity to start firing shells south, across their border, and muscle in, and then we have the genocide thing, and then as I understand it, Turkey has been fairly cruel to the many refugees they took in, or at least they haven't given.
And they use them as a bargaining chip while debating with Europe all the time.
Because they want to get in on the EU, right? Like fully.
They want to get in. They basically they use it as like a, hey, if you don't like what we're doing, we're holding all these refugees. Maybe we'll just stop doing that. And it's like basically taking advantage of like a lot of the like refugee scare that's in Europe to kind of use it as a bargaining chip.
Yeah, because if they just stopped accepting refugees, or at least if they had, I doubt the trickle in is quite as much as it used to be, but they were threatening essentially to flood Western Europe with refugees, wasn't that?
Yeah, they do that every once in a while during some negotiations. They also famously used Syrian, and this is the thing that actually was when I said this was denied by Turkish nationalists. Not only did they use Syrian jihadis and like send them over to Libya, they did the same thing during the Armenia and Azerbaijan conflict. And even in the last weeks of the conflict, when I was saying this is happening, we have evidence, I would have people in my chat denying it until I had to give them like, here's like mainstream sources, here's pictures, here's lists of names, here's people in Syria next to pictures of them over here in Azerbaijan. I felt like I was having to do a deep dive investigation to prove this was going on.
Now that's a gamer moment right there. Sit in your computer chair, turn on the lights, boot up stream, and supply 30 minutes of proof as to the existence of the Armenian genocide to Turkish nationals in your audience.
It's fun. The thing is about this particular like event is you'll find that no matter how deep your community you think is progressive or wonderful or lovely, when it comes to historical events like this, everybody in your chat, when you're going on one historical event, everybody will be in agreement except for a certain subsect of people from said country. And this is 100% true in this, where you'll say this stuff, and I'm sure you'll see it in Hassan's community, you'll see it in your community, even see it sometimes in my community, where you'll say like, yeah, this was a genocide. There'll be like 20 people who raise their hand and say, actually.
No, it's not.
Exactly. You talk about American crimes, they 100% switch around. Japan's crimes, 100% switch around. China's 100% switch around. But then you touch their country, Never mind.
Yeah, there are Americans in my community who don't even believe white genocide is happening.
Jesus Christ.
What was that old meme?
Hey,
It was like
hey, you know what? Xander Hall looked his best when he said white rights.
There was that there was that I don't was that shit post from 4chan, that green text where it was like, my dad is like fuck guys, what was it? My dad is like a hardcore like it was some African country like genocide denialist or something. He's never even been there, but if you disagree, he calls you a Tutsi liar or something like that. Rwandan genocide. Yeah. People just I don't know. Maybe it's just people really like denying genocide. We're just super hyped on it.
I think the thing is, back in the day, this was still bad, but I think with the creation of the modern internet, you can basically, if you want to, craft your own narrative or story about any historical event ever if you go into enough Facebook groups.
Yeah.
I mean, really, like they'll just tell you whatever they want or give up. Like, well, if you look at the little pieces of string off the side of the American flag, then you can see that Biden obviously didn't win. Like this, I mean, even stuff as clear cut as elections is now up for internet debate.
I think a lot of people feel very coerced or very cajoled by the existence of historically accepted narratives. This is a really common trend I've noticed with Nazis. It's that they keep saying, you're made to feel guilty for slavery. Or I guess even regular conservatives do this. Like, white people are being taught to feel guilty for slavery. I have never in my life, not once, been taught in all the progressive communities that I've been a part of to feel guilty for slavery, which makes me think they do, because they essentialize race, because they think that a person is their race and a race is made of its people, that they are responsible for slavery and they don't want to be held accountable for it. They assume everyone else thinks that way, so they project the guilt outward.
What it is the racists have extremely low self-esteem. They've got nothing else to identify with because they haven't accomplished anything significant in their lives. So they look to the past and try to find somebody else who they didn't contribute to any of their accomplishments to feel proud of. So they can feel better about their lives, which they've done nothing but like go through 4chan forums on. That's the truth about the matter, really.
Yeah. It's really wild. You know, when I see Turkey in popular culture, not politics, it seems like a pretty cool place. Or at least they produce a lot of really cool stuff.
Oh yeah, Turkish people are like amazing. I mean, like they have an extremely beautiful culture, extremely rich history, amazing architecture. I mean, the food's also great. There's a million amazing things about Turkey. This is just really bad thing about Turkey.
Yeah. So what do you think the geopolitical consequences are going to be of Biden's decision?
So Biden, and this is one of the reasons why I think people should have supported him, is he was going to hold Turkey to account. We all knew this a lot more than than Trump was. Trump famously pulled out of northeastern Syria after multiple phone calls with Erdogan to zero strategic, humanitarian, or any benefit to the United States whatsoever, which led to a humanitarian catastrophe as the Syrian war expanded, and Syrian and Kurdish politicians were dragged out of cars and executed by Turkish-backed militias. Hospitals were bombed. And a lot of former ISIS fighters were actually in these militias that were sent south. If you look at the Rojava Information Center's information on this, they have full lists of names and pictures of these individuals.
How did that work? Were they captured and deployed as like war slaves, or were they rehabilitated? What the fuck happened there?
They left ISIS, was like, give me gun. They gave him gun. It was like, okay, get back out there. Now you're not ISIS. Now you're this group. This actually happens a lot, but the thing is, the ISIS should have been like the one group that everyone's like, no, not these people, but you know what? Hey, they're a welcoming equality group, you know? They're all for the jihadi equality over there.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I'm glad they're getting along, Turkey and ISIS, on that matter especially.
Hey, just look at the oil deals. But wait, okay, now let's not go down a rabbit hole. But there's a million things wrong that happened with that invasion. Then, of course, you could look at Turkey's recent involvement with the Armenia-Azerbaijan conflict, which Biden did not look upon positively as well. And of course, this is a big thing, which a lot of people don't talk for, which is the S-400 program, which is basically Turkey buying certain weapon systems from Russia, which Americans do not, the American government does not like, because Russia is a geopolitical foe. And the idea of us giving them our certain military equipment from us while they're buying military equipment from the Russians in certain ways does not make America happy.
Mhm.
And so that's a big thing. I think I'm not a big weapons expert, but somebody has explained to me like tech security implications, but basically that's a big issue as well.
Okay. Well, at the end of the day, this is probably a good thing. I mean, well, it's definitely a good thing,
Of
but even
course.
even geopolitically, it's probably going to have a very minimal effect on long-term antagonism, I imagine, because it's not like Turkey can much do anything about it, and it feels like if we're going to have a friendship with that country, it probably shouldn't be
Yeah.
predicated on lying about their, you know, genocide committal status.
Of course. And for people who there's a lot of people surprisingly who are like, why in the world would we need to do this? This is of no importance. Just help lower my gas costs. Think of it this way. Apply this to any other genocide in common memory. Let's go with the most common one, the Holocaust. Imagine telling a Jewish American who doesn't like the fact that their own government doesn't recognize the Holocaust, something that took 80% of their family members away, that they don't want to recognize it because they didn't want to hurt ties with Germany. That would be a huge insult to not even recognize a historical fact. And recognizing these historical facts are important to make sure these events don't happen again. And with the current conflict between Azerbaijan and Armenia, where the Azerbaijan military committed, not to say the Armenian hasn't as well, but committed tons of war crime, executing the elderly, like the video footage that has come out of that is completely disgusting. It's hard to think that none of those war crimes were at all committed because of certain bigotry and biases that were ignored due to genocide denial.
Yeah, can't really deny that. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, I'm glad that it got recognized at least, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is like this should be an open and political implications, but this was the good thing. This was the correct thing to do.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you coming on to talk about it. There's probably not much nuance. I mean, there's an infinite amount of nuance with
F
regards to the history of the situation, but in
F
terms of the complexity of this situation,
F
F?
stream stream crash.
Oh, it'll be back soon.
Gotcha.
Streamlabs has been an absolute bitch lately.
Yeah, it's not been great.
Yeah. Wait, has it not been great for you either?
Yeah, I've had problems with it crashing.
Yeah, there was a recent update that's caused a ton of problems that I have to like adjust for before every stream now.
Oof. So let me ask you a question. I'm actually interested. Have you seen any Armenian genocide denial in your chat as of recent?
Not in my community. No.
That's a positive. Congratulations.
Yeah, I guess I've done something to make myself unappealing to Turks beforehand. So maybe it's
The Turks generally, or
yeah. I don't
specifically
know. It's something I
genocide
said.
denying Turks?
Maybe it was my
Is there any
critical.
Turkish fans in chat? Any Turkish fans?
Oh, I saw a couple of them complaining that we were presenting a USA centric perspective on this issue, which is no doubt the case. But that's going to be any perspective I give on this, of course.
Hey, there's a Turkish fan right there.
Yeah, I'll probably learn more about this in the future. Maybe a research stream. I want to do research streams for like geopolitical blocks, see what the conflicts are, that sort of thing.
Awesome. Yeah, if you ever need any help with that, you can always ping me, man.
Absolutely. You take care, and thank you for coming on.
You take care. Can I shout myself out quick?
Yeah, of course.
Awesome. You can find me twitch.tv/Normal America, also known as Rob Noor, where you get your conservative-based opinions. And yeah, that's where you can find all me. Normal America, Rob Noor, twitch.tv/Lecture Fan. And to get all your based opinions, twitch.tv/John Burke as well. Wonderful. It's actually, if you actually care, it's Dylan Burns TV. That's DYLAN-BURNS TV on Twitch, DYLAN-BURNS TV on YouTube. And if you actually care about following me on Twitter, that's Dylan Burns 1776. And now that I'm gay, if you don't follow, it's actually homophobic.
True.
And Vosh, you don't have a lot of homophobes in your chat, do you?
I mean, they probably would have left a while ago, given all the aggressive homosexuality I engage in. So I would hope not.
Oh, I got one last question. I'm debating somebody who debated you tomorrow.
Ooh.
1 second. Let me find him. Ronnie Cameron. He was some white nationalist who called into your show for like an hour and 10 minutes and then uploaded some videos about it on Odyssey afterwards.
Ronnie.
He called you like a grifter afterwards, or
wait.
something.
I remember this guy's Twitter photo. This has to be one of the recent.
He
ones,
looks like
right?
he looks like an egg with sunglasses.
Yeah. This has to be one of the recent ones, right? Because I
Yeah, it
remember this
must be.
fairly recently.
Yep.
Oh wait, here we go. I'm being posted here. Yeah.
Yep. He's going to be debating me on homosexuality because I came out as gay.
On whether or not you exist, or
Whether or not I am harmful.
I believe in you.
Thank you. I mean, I'm harmful, just not in that way. Just with my evil arms dealing.
I pray you're harmful to him.
Thank you. Okay.
Good luck.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Do you have any tips about him? Anything from the conversation?
I don't remember. They were all the same to me. White nationalists.
Gotcha. Wow, that's a lot of bigotry towards the white nationalists.
Yeah. All right.
See you later.
See you. Wait, hold on. What? There we go. Vosh, react to this. I don't care. Oh, if you want to complain about Destiny tweets, this is probably one of the worst things I've actually seen from him. So just the other day, Demon Mama was doing a 10K sub celebration stream, and the thing got posted to a poll. I'm not reading this out loud, and her chat was just full of Nazis and stuff. And Destiny quote tweets her and says, "Post mean threads about myself, quote them to run to Twitter for sympathy points." So she posted the thread herself for, yeah. What happened to misinformation concerns here? Like, it's literally a trans woman getting, like, given death threats and told to kill herself from 4chan, and he's like, "Ha, you're making it up." Damn, he sure is backsliding, isn't he? So much for the anti-misinformation arc. His whole community's, like, shitting on him for it, too, so it's just him. He just gets super triggered by Demon Mama, by the lefties, you know? She's very emotional about that sort of thing. Yeah. What are we looking at? Oh, wait. Something completely irrelevant to stream, hold on. Oh, yeah, there we go. Oh shit, we still have so much to talk about. No! We have shit we need to talk about. And donos we need to read. But first, we need more donos. Okay? More. Give me more. Alright? That's what we need to do. I'm about to get some info though. Yo, what's up? Alright, hit us up. What?
I have a psychotic request for you. Okay?
What? Why? What? What?
In here I have an ant.
Okay. No, I'm not doing that. Why?
Because I need to know if it smells like something.
Chad, hold on one second. I'm muting and deleting this. We're not... Hold on. Just... All right. What info have we learned?
Oh, no, we have smelly ants. They smell like Windex.
We have ants in our house that smell like Windex. This is not a segment, but...
No,
yeah.
It's not a segment, but I just thought it was wild.
How did you arrive at this conclusion?
I smushed one, and then it smelled like Windex, and I was like, where the fuck is Windex coming from? Apparently, it's genetic. Not everyone can smell it. So I wanted to know if you could smell it.
Well, just another piece of evidence towards my genetic superiority, right?
It smells so weird.
Well, okay, take that out. It's conceptually... It's ant, yeah! All right. We're here, and we're queer. Thoughts on Zan saying we shouldn't pull out of Afghanistan? Okay, so here's the problem. Your average lefty take on this is, we should pull out of Afghanistan because Afghanistan, it's bad, war is bad, pull out, okay? This is like a 4 IQ take. Now, Xanderhall's take is a 140 IQ take. That actually, we made the mess in Afghanistan. If we abandon it now, the Taliban will take over the territories that we leave behind, and that our continued presence there is something of a stabilizing force. But I have the 400 IQ take, which is that the greatest stabilizing force is the fact that continued American presence is what allows many of these terror groups to radicalize in the first place. And while in the short term our removal may cause problems there, there's almost no getting around that. In the long term, I feel like there's no future for the Middle East unless America, like, removes itself, or at the very least, we are replaced by some kind of international peacekeeping force. Like, if there was a UN peacekeeping force or detachment, that would probably be way better and way better optical stuff than America. If America could pull out while securing some kind of UN, like, peacekeeper presence, at least in major cities, I think that would be pretty good. Does that make sense? I think that'd be an improvement. The problem is, we're potentially capable of doing a lot of good there, but we're not going to. Yeah. That'd be hard to accomplish considering Russia's in the council. Also, yeah, boot off Russia from the UN Security Council. Russia's not even a superpower anymore. Hold on. Can we fucking refinance our UN Security Council? Okay, can we get Russia out of there? Can we? Goodbye. Can we yeet them? No getting around China being there, of course, but yes, I see, guys. I see the tweets. I see the tweets. I see the tweets. Yes, okay. I see. It's all people are saying. I get it. I see. I thank you. Oh. What's up with leftists thinking we should stay in the Middle East? I literally just gave the argument for why. Can you cover the black neo-Nazi who harassed an autistic worker at Holiday Inn? Yep, that's what we're going to talk about next. Right now. Right here. Right now. How's that song go? Lose control. Body and soul. Everybody. Everybody. Let's get inside. Let's get inside. Let's get it started high. Let's get it started here. Let's get it started high. Let's get it started here. Oh, speaking of wastes of time, I got back into World of Warcraft yesterday. If it starts to negatively affect the stream quality and duration, then you all have a right to unsubscribe. I need you guys to understand that I used to be very good at WoW. One of the best resto shamans on my big server. Private servers, though? I don't want private servers. I want to be better than everyone else, okay? That's what I want. But do you enjoy it? That's the most important? Yeah, of course I do. You fucking kidding me? Oh, God, dude. I felt like I was re-entering an Evangelion when I started playing again. The last time I played, it was back at the end of Legion. No, the end of Tomb of Sargeras. I didn't even do the final raid tier of Legion. And I was playing Resto Shaman, and I could play Elemental as well for whenever I needed to. And you know, of course, in WoW, you have a lot of keybinds. Actually, hold on. Guys, will you guys stick around if we just do a 3-minute departure? Like, 3-minute departure, really quick? Can we do that, do you think? And then we'll talk about the Tariq Nasheed thing, okay? So one of the things that I really like about World of Warcraft is the fact that it has a really the raiding is really fun. Most characters have fairly complicated rotations, and God, I mean, especially if you're a if you're a healer, you know, like you have to play a keyboard. It depends on the class, but still. And anyway, hold on. Let me respec really quick because I want to show you guys. This was the OG, okay? 1 second. Switch here to restoration. Oh no! Well, all the talents got reset and stuff, so most of my hotbar here is missing. And I'm level 45 now for some reason instead of a level 110. But when you're playing, okay, at a high level, you're playing like a keyboard, like a piano. All right? And you're like brrr. For a while I played Final Fantasy 14. I was a level 42 warrior. And you know what my rotation was? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Jesus Christ. And you know what the AoE rotation was? 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. What am I playing? Jesus. Come on. God. Also, the global cooldown in Final Fantasy XIV is 2.5 seconds. 2.5 seconds. If you hit a button, you're going to have to wait 2.5 seconds for the next one. And people don't tend to fucking max the buttons, the skill to decrease spell cooldown unless they're DPS. But I was telling you, time. Anyway, okay? For WoW with healing, okay? I had so much fun. And when I started playing again just yesterday, I got a new shaman. I start leveling up. I get the abilities again. I feel like I'm slipping back into the Ava suit, okay? My hands start to remember their old positions. Oh god, the power, okay? Not that Ellie Shaman has a particularly difficult rotation, mind, but I think Resto Shaman was very rewarding to play. Hopefully it's still fun in Shadowlands. You haven't even done real content in FF14. The raids are nothing like leveling. Nope, I saw videos of it. The raids in Final Fantasy XIV are baby shit compared to WoW. Nothing else. Not Guild Wars 2, not fucking Black Desert, not RuneScape, not any of these shit even comes close to WoW raids, okay? WoW raids are absolute top tier, okay? No getting around it. Sorry. Sorry. Nothing comes close in complexity, all right? Stay mad. Everyone mad? You mad now? Good. Is everyone mad? Because now we can get to the actual content. Yeah, stay mad. Ah, so mad. Where's my... How did I get there? Jesus. We're about to talk about some contentious stuff. Are you all ready for it? This segment is going to be about ableism, but it's also going to be about race baiting and anti-white racism. Ooh. Oh, so spicy. So, very contentious. Well, we're doing it anyway. See, any of you who were online on Twitter the other day saw a video that was posted. And that video is, well, the fact that it was posted at all is more than a little mean-spirited. It's a video of a Holiday Inn Express worker having a mental breakdown while being harassed by a person recording them with a camera. We're going to watch that video very briefly, and if you don't want to watch it, that's totally fine. It's not the nicest video.
Because you all made a mistake?
Not really, no.
So you want to get mad and hit the computer because you made a mistake? Because your company made a mistake? You want to take it out on me?
I'm not taking it out on you.
So why did you get mad and hit the computer? Why did you get mad and hit the computer?
Because I have
I'm sure you're on camera, right?
Yeah, I am.
I'm sure you're on camera. So this is the type of people they have working here.
I gotta go, man. I gotta go. You ruined my life. You ruined my whole life, man.
And we can just cut it here. So it turns out that prior to that video's recording beginning, that customer was calling the worker homophobic slurs. The worker suffers from BPD and some schizophrenic symptoms. Now, there were some posts made from a person who alleges to be them. Vosh, why'd you play this? It was wholly unnecessary to play this. I disagree. I think it's very important to know exactly what is being mocked here. So, oh, hey, that's me. Yes, I have BPD with schizoactive tendencies. This is not one of my best moments. Mental illness is real, and it can literally destroy lives. This is a good wake-up call just to stop being in this industry. It took me 5 years to break out of hospitality because I've just had enough. That is true. Hospitality work is brutal. Please value yourself, love yourself. You are worth more than this soul-crushing job and the public's bullshit. And I continue to type. This was me at the end of my rope. While I have now quit this position, my management supported me and told me that I was welcome back. The guest, the filmer, was ejected from the hotel for escalating issues with staff and the owners. I do have mental disorders. I suffer from BPD and schizoaffective disorders. What this fine 5'5" bald gentleman behind the camera, ooh, the shade, knows how to hit and take a hit, didn't record was the fact that he called me an F-slur for an associate's mistake. He was aggressive and fishing for a reaction. He sure got it, and I'm glad this was a wake-up call for me to stop slaving away for corporations who do not care about you at all, or the guests. Based. Right before he started his recording, I told him I have a mental illness and I need a moment to think, before he just kept going and going and going before it came too much. Now, here's a critical question to you fine people, okay? Now, obviously, the first take that a person would arrive at here... oh, sorry, I missed the last line. My apologies. That being said, it was a huge wake-up call for me to get out of that industry. I would really like to be a streamer, but that's hard to do today. The future absolutely terrifies me, but at least I made this person's day by giving them Reddit points. Though I know not this person's name, I just want them to know that, in case they ever see this, if they ever contact me, I will be happy to give them pointers of getting started. I will have them on soon after they begin streaming. I'm happy to support you to the extent that I can. Not to virtue signal or anything, but yeah. Anyway, so this person alleges to be them. It seems to be them. It seems odd that somebody would... I mean, it seems corroborated that that is indeed that person. So the flatline take is this one. The flatline take is this. This is horribly ableist. And it is, you know. We take for granted our mental well-being up until we don't have it. It's very strange. See, one thing I could never fathom when I was 8 years old was lower back pain. Couldn't even imagine it. But then, when I was in college, I threw out my back deadlifting. And then I could imagine it. It was really possible for me to imagine it. Before throwing out my back doing deadlifts with poor form, I could gesture at what back pain might feel like. I mean, certainly my back had been sore in the past, but the idea of not being able to stand up from a sitting position, that was completely alien to me. It's like, what? No, I'm going to be healthy and young forever. Of course, I'm doing better now than I was then, but sometimes it's really difficult to understand what something feels like until you've experienced it yourself. And we've all had bad days, but bad days aren't mental illness. Mental illness is complicated, and there's no organ on Earth more complicated than the human brain. It's very difficult to try to understand. The most we can really do is sympathize sometimes. I'll tell you this right off the bat. I don't know what schizoactive disorders feel like. I can't even imagine. So all I can really do is sympathize. I can say that's probably very hard. You know, and I'll try not to be shitty about it. I do know what depression feels like. And for that reason, I can be directly empathetic. I know I can directly relate to my experiences with regards to others. Not everyone has suffered from mental illnesses. Not everybody has experienced some severe mental breakdown that would maybe give them an insight into this, but I'm just going to give a general take because there's more I want to say on this issue. Be respectful. Come on. Seriously. Look, I'm not going super duper woke scold on this. If a person's freaking out online, you can still call them like if a person's in your mentions being like, excuse me, I explicitly typed up that Lucina from Final Fantasy is my OC and my waifu, and you posting lewd images of her is a rejection of our bot. Like, okay, you can call that person crazy, go for it. I don't care. I'm not saying, we're not prescribing anything wild here, okay? But if a person's having a hard time, is there a Lucina from Final Fantasy? I don't know. There have been like 15 of them, okay? That's Fire Emblem? Oh, I don't know. I don't care. I don't care. But if a person's going through a hard time, then you should be sympathetic to that, to the best of your extent. The person behind that camera was really shitty. Now, let me ask you all a question. Was there anything that young man did that was racist? No, I didn't see anything even slightly racial there at all, actually. Like, nothing. Well, the original video was posted by a Twitter account called Freddie Gibbs, and that Twitter account initially captioned it, something, look at this white boy, hope nobody ever gives him a gun, or something like that. People told him to delete it. Music enjoyer over here. And Freddie Gibbs said, no, I won't. And then he went on to posture like an internet tough guy on his Twitter account, saying that, you know, who's up next? Who am I taking down next? And so on and so forth, you know. This also got posted by remarkable person, Tariq Nasheed, over here. A white Holiday Inn Express worker had a nervous breakdown after he got scolded by a black customer because of a mistake in the reservation system. 11,000 quote tweets, 7,000 likes. Now, before we go any further, I want to make it totally clear that Tariq Nasheed is an inverse universe neo-Nazi is. He is prescriptively identical to a Nazi. This is what people say when they say Hotep, okay? Anti-Semitism, anti-race mixing, believes in the racial superiority of black people. And you know what? Somebody dug this quote up, and this is just great. In slavery, there was a tactic called buck breaking, where slave owners would sexually violate African males to break them down psychologically. The new buck breaking tactic is where white supremacists use their N-word flunkies to shame black men into having sex with transsexuals. Now that is a good tweet right there. He managed to pack a lot. You know, I could think for hours on a tweet like this. Like, how can I maximize the harm to the world? How can I... I've said this before on Twitter, but I think Tariq Nasheed might actually be the key to American political unity, because everybody hates him. See, everyone progressive hates him because he's a black Nazi, essentially, just with the roles flipped. And everyone on the right hates him because he's a black Nazi with the roles flipped. So he's, you know, the only people who like him are black people who are reactionary but anti-white. And, well, before we talk any more about Tariq Nasheed, I want to describe a term that's often used, okay? It's called race baiting. Now, this is used all the time by conservatives. Conservatives love to use this term, race baiting. And when conservatives use it, what they mean is stop bringing up racism. That's what conservatives mean when they say somebody's race baiting. So, for example, there are plenty of people who will say that BLM referring to George Floyd's murder as a racial issue is race baiting. And it's true that, to the best of my knowledge, there's no evidence that George Floyd's murder was directly racially motivated. We don't have any evidence from the testimony indicating that Chauvin acted with any explicit racial bias. And you can never know if it's implicit, of course. We don't know what's in people's heads. However, the discussion of George Floyd's murder in the context of a broader issue that black Americans have with the police is, in my mind, completely acceptable. That's a perfectly reasonable thing to say. We are having a national crisis with police mistreatment of black people, and here is a black guy who got fucking murdered, maybe there's a relationship here, you know? I think that's fine. I think that's totally justified. But sometimes race baiting is a real thing. Funnily enough, it's a thing that conservatives like to do all the time. Paul Joseph Watson is a really, really big fan of this. What Paul Joseph Watson will do is Paul Joseph Watson will post a video of a street fight. Good old-fashioned street fight, honest and earnest. Now, if this street fight was being had between a bunch of Nordic Chads, the Nazis would be jerking themselves off raw until their balls shriveled up, because from the sheer testosterone of it all, you know? But Paul Joseph Watson doesn't post videos of Nordic Chads getting into street fights. He posts videos of black people getting into street fights. Almost always black people. If there are white people in those street fights, they're usually the victims of black violence. If they're present there, they're usually trying to leave the scene, or they're clocked out by one of the black people there. Now, street fights happen everywhere. Bar fights happen everywhere. This is a culturally completely ambivalent, like everyone does this. You can go into Africa, you can go into China, you can get anywhere this happens, okay? My God. Bar fights. This is like a key component of humanity. Christ, go to Ireland, you know? But Paul Joseph Watson just posts the black people. And the reason why he does this is because he's trying to make a point about multiculturalism, which is the term he uses because if he said, I don't want black people in my country, he wouldn't be on Twitter for very long. Or at least, maybe. I don't know what Twitter lets people get away with these days. Race baiting is a real thing. And it's often used by reactionaries who want to project racial antagonism where it doesn't exist to further a narrative of mutual hatred. With that being said, here's Tariq Nasheed. A white Holiday Inn Express worker and a black customer. Nothing about this had anything to do with race. But if you look through the comments, and we could scroll through for a million. Now, by now it's been ratioed, so the top comments are going to be from good people like Dylan Burns. But if you scroll through for long enough, you will find hundreds, thousands even, of comments from, to be perfectly fair, mostly black people who are sharing in the sentiment, oh, how dare that white boy, white people need to learn when to shut the fuck up, etc., etc. Race baiting is bad. You see, everyone on Earth benefits from us all getting along, and I think we'd be perfectly capable of getting along were it not for a select group of powerful and extremely morally repugnant people who project narratives of racial antagonism. This has been a millennia-long thing. The Romans did it to the Christians have done it to the Jews and to the Muslims. Some Muslims do it to the other Muslims because of the Sunni Shiite thing, and the Christians, they did the Catholics, but they always have to be told. Bigotry is learned. Usually somebody at the top benefits. Now, Tariq Nasheed isn't some globalist leader or whatever. Tariq Nasheed is just a small to middle-sized, very racist person who makes his living off of exacerbating racial tensions. I can't tell you how many times I've seen tweets from him getting ratioed where he's opposing race mixing. It'll be like this loving picture of like a white husband and a black woman, and they'll be taking care of this like beautiful brown kid or whatever, and he'll be like, oh wow, way to destroy your culture. Like that type of stuff, you know? So we get that he race baits, and we get that Tariq Nasheed is not exactly a morally enviable person. Oh, to be perfectly clear, I will be canceled for criticizing Tariq Nasheed. There's a reason for that. And I'm going to get canceled for saying this too, but this is a real thing, okay? There are a fair amount, especially online, of unironic, you know what I'm going to say, anti-white racists. Now, there is a position that most left-leaning people hold, and I believe it too. Systemic racism does not exist against white people in America. Or if it does, it's this very middling, very marginal thing. Like maybe some little edge case here, like that. But the vast, vast, vast majority of it is pro-white, and the vast majority of it is anti-not white. But that's institutional racism. Interpersonal racism can come from anyone against anyone. This is a fairly reasonable take. I hope most people would agree with it. There's nothing biological or sociological that prevents black people from being quite personally bigoted against white people, though the institutions in this country don't allow them to express that bias in a huge and powerful way, which is, I mean, good. Hopefully we can do that with anti-everyone else racism soon too, right? Hey, I want a socioeconomic system where institutional racism is equally impossible for everyone as it is right now for black people. That would be absolutely wonderful. So I want to make it perfectly clear that when I talk about racism on this channel and I complain about it, and boy do I complain about it, I'm usually complaining about institutional racism. When we talk about the police, the criminal justice system, slavery, this is institutional. It's not built and born of individual prejudice. It's built and born of systems that recursively create themselves, that work to self-perpetuate. They're beyond any individual. You can have a racist system completely controlled by perfectly non-racist people. That's totally possible. In fact, that happens. I guarantee you, somewhere around the world right now, or let's just say in America, there is a small town with an internal criminal justice system that is occupied entirely by non-racist people, or at least by people whose racism is so minute, like they're very progressive people. I mean the cops, the sheriffs, the judge. I guarantee you at least somewhere, out of the tens of thousands of communities, there has to be at least one. But the system can still create racist results because the laws, the way those laws are meant to be enforced, and the demographic trends with regards to income and systemic discrimination prior don't need racist people to exist. They can exist on their own. All that being said, I don't think that means it's okay to be interpersonally racist. I actually think it's really shitty, super bad to be that sort of thing. Not just because it has the potential to eventually manifest in a systemic way. I mean, maybe, but because it makes you a bad person. And there are a lot of people on the left who let people like this get away with it because they're not comfortable criticizing black people for racism, which they disguise as pro-black advocacy. But be clear, when somebody like Tariq Nasheed disguises their anti-white racism as pro-black advocacy, they are doing the exact same thing as neo-Nazis disguising their anti-black racism as pro-white advocacy. It is the exact same tactic. Like, down to the letter. Now, I don't think there are that many, like, anti-white people. Certainly not as a proportion of the population. There are some. Black people are people. It's in the name, black people. They're there, you know. And people suck sometimes. Invariably, this is going to be an issue with some groups, some individuals, people being interpersonally racist. Oh yeah, here we go. I remember this. This is this one really makes me sad. Tariq Nasheed's tweet: white couple gets some tap shoes for their black adopted child. This is the sweetest TikTok in the world. Look, it's like they adopted a little black kid and they're got little shoes. It's like cute. It's just nothing but good and wholesome in the context of this video. And this tweet went viral, which means that it got ratioed. But before it went viral, oh wait, I don't even need to say before it went viral. Here's the second top comment. It should be illegal to adopt black children if you're not black. This is racist. I just know it is. Why they never adopting their own race, like they want to change us into something. I don't like this at all. All you black people that see nothing wrong with this, go back and learn your history. Besides, baby toys come in so many varieties, or maybe they could have gotten her one of those baby shoes with the lights on them. Now, why tap shoes? Are tap shoes a white thing? Maybe, I don't know. They acting like this baby wants to tap dance. They could have given that baby any fun activity. They choose this for their baby. And by the way, the parents aren't dancers. True story, my old camp leader adopted a 2-year-old white girl and went to the amusement park. The white girl found a white couple, and when her back was turned, the white girl ran to the white couple and said, "Please save me from this crazy black lady," at 2 years old. I don't even know what to make of this last one, to be perfectly... Yeah, and then everyone clapped, I guess. I think the message here is supposed to be that white people naturally gravitate towards white people, or maybe that white people are just naturally racist. So this is all fairly deranged, of course. There aren't that many. Tap dancing is because of minstrels, I think. Okay, sure. Maybe. I think black people should be allowed to... do they think the parents got them tap dancing shoes because they were like, yeah, it'll be funny to watch our 2-year-old child to do a minstrel? No. This is a reach to me. No. I'm not. Yeah, we're tilting at windmills right now. That's what's that meme? This post and also my cat every morning. Ooh, big stretch. Look. I don't think there are many people who are like explicitly interpersonally anti-white. I've met quite a few of them online because they all seem to dislike me for some reason. I think they're pieces of shit, and morally speaking, I think they're about as bad as anti-black white people. We're not talking about systemic harm, we're talking about their moral worth, and I just think it's a sign of a very bad person to look at a person's skin color and say, from that assessment, this is not a person I want to associate with. This is a person I dislike. I just think that's a bad thing to do and to be. There are a lot of people on the left, though, who enable that type of behavior because they're uncomfortable criticizing it. Now, with cases like Tariq Nasheed, this isn't so much of a problem because Tariq Nasheed is so obviously odious that like everyone's comfortable dogpiling on him, except for the far crazy, like, anti-white people, you know? So, fine. But there are sentiments like that get reiterated quite a bit. Since when do you believe in moral worth? Don't you judge morality by a person's effect in the world? You judge the moral worth of an action that way, yeah, but when it comes to whether or not you want to associate with a person, or the extent to which you want to condemn an action, I think it's important to take into account factors more than just outcome. Like, for example, do you think that, like, if there was, like, a little, like, 13-year-old white kid screaming about, like, how the Holocaust didn't happen, would you say that it's not that big of a deal because they're young and because the Holocaust had already happened, that there's not really that much of an issue there, you know? Like, because, like, what effect can you actually have on the issue that's being spoken about here? There are broader considerations to be made, like whether or not we're enabling bigoted behavior. And if you actually look about a century in the past, you'll find that the Ku Klux Klan and white separatist and eugenicist groups were very good friends with white separatists, which is one of the reasons why I despise Marcus Garvey. Marcus Garvey is cited by some as a civil rights leader. I think he's a piece of shit, an anti-race mixing, anti-white and anti-black, anti-Semitic dumb fuck who... What did I say? Black separatists, yeah. Did I say black segregationists? Did I say black Spartist? Well, whatever I meant to say, it was... Oh, I said white. Oh, yeah, black separatist. My apologies. Well, he worked with white separatists. So he worked with the Ku Klux Klan. I'm just not a big fan of these types of ideas. I think it's important to distance ourselves from them as well, because they are really dangerous, both implicitly, explicitly, and optically as well. And it's important to remember that it's going to be really hard to move people over to the left if you see people on the left playing buddy-buddy with anti-white racists. It sounds weird saying that, doesn't it? Anti-white racists. In fact, the fact that I have to say anti-white racists distinguishes it, as though the term racism doesn't encapsulate anti-white racism. Isn't that odd? I'm actually going to stop doing that from now on. I'm just going to call them racist. I don't think that's a very good linguistic trend, saying anti-white racist, in large part because it implies that real racism applies to everyone but white people, and that anti-white racism is some aberrant term, kind of like the term white trash. Have you ever wondered why the term white trash is the way it is? It's actually not anti-white racist. It's the other way around. The reason why the term white trash emerged was to distinguish it as being specifically referential to white people as opposed to the normal type of trash, brown people. That's etymologically, sort of one of the things that led into it. Like, oh, it's white trash. Like, it's white trash. Like, yeah, like white. But we don't do that with any other, like, negative term, do we? Right? Like, we don't say black thug. The term is already laid in there. White rapper. Nobody says black rapper. The terms are already laid in there. Isn't it classist too? Oh, sure, it's very classist, but I'm speaking to the race issue mostly. Anyway, the point that I'm trying to get at here is that race baiting is bad because it is designed to exacerbate racial tensions. Now, race baiting is typically done by conservatives or reactionaries. What conservatives call race baiting is the opposite of race baiting. When racial issues are brought up and addressed, that is meant to alleviate racial tensions. When conservatives bring up race baiting, it's usually to exacerbate them. Very key difference there. Additionally, racism against white people is bad. It makes you a bad person, and it is harmful in its own ways. You can hurt people's feelings. That sounds trivial, but like, hey, if we can take black microaggressions seriously, then I don't see why we can't take seriously the idea that white people online wouldn't like experiencing racism, even if it's comparatively trivial. It doesn't all have to come back to institutional racism to hurt. I mean, it just sucks. Just not good generally. And finally, I think the left should do a little bit more in general at identifying and distancing themselves from covert racism against white people. So one way in which this is often done is white genocide jokes. I have made jokes about white genocide before. Usually they're done very, very, very tongue-in-cheek. But I've seen this happen quite a bit online where people will make white genocide jokes and then subsequent comments will indicate they're not really making jokes. The Mayo-side jokes, yeah. People will make Mayo-side jokes and then like it'll lay in a little more and then people are like, nah, really though, fuck Whitey. And it's like, wait, okay, hold on. How much are we joking here? Come on, let's not be crazy. This is enabled by the idea many leftists hold that it's impossible to be racist against majority power groups like white people, which has always been, I think, a very poor understanding of the broader issue. They substitute racism and institutional racism for prejudice and racism, which is not only optically bad, because then people would point at Tariq Nasheed and go, wait, is this guy really not racist? And then a left-leaning person would have to say, no, he's just prejudiced. Which, come on, it's a semantics game. But I think a lot of people on the left just are generally unsympathetic to prejudice that is directed against majority power groups. But we're based and male-pilled here, aren't we? We all know that men face serious systemic issues and that we shouldn't shit on men just for being men. Right? Male-pilled, man-pilled, guy-pilled, dude-pilled, right? Based and dude-pilled? Yeah, right? We're all dude-pilled here. Yeah, for sure. Even if you take away all the systemic issue stuff, it's just, you shouldn't be shitty to men. You've seen those feminists that are like that, right? Like, they're like, we're so dangerous and powerful. We're so subversive. We say we hate men a lot. Wow. You're really killing it with the top tier socioeconomic criticism. Just nicely done. I don't mind so much making jokes about straight people because I don't think anyone is made fun of for being straight. Like, for real. I've never seen that happen in my entire life. Outside of, like, always online trans-friendly Discord communities where they might, like, poke a little bit, I've never really seen people really being made fun of. Because there are people out there who hate white people. There are people out there who hate men. I don't really see that so much with cis or with straight people, but as a general rule, you probably shouldn't make those people feel bad for who they are either. Whether or not a joke is acceptable is largely going to come down to context. Does that make sense? Do we all understand that? It's just frustrating to me because Tariq Nasheed does and says a lot of really horrible stuff, but only a couple of his tweets go viral every once in a while. And the reason for that is because a lot of the stuff that he says, while being pretty overtly racist, isn't racist in a way the left seems to care about. And sorry, if I'm trying to bring people over to the left, I can't really do that if, like, behind me the left isn't willing to criticize, you know, these types of behavior within their own periphery broadly, you know? Well, hopefully that all makes sense. Isn't this kind of the right's fault for using the claim of anti-white racism to trivialize pro-black advocacy? It is the right's fault, but not for the reason you think. Tariq Nasheed is on the right. Anti-white black people are on the right. Remember, guys, being on the left means being pro-equality. Being on the right means being pro-hierarchy. If you're some radical abolitionist separatist black person who wants to create a black ethno-state, you're on the right. Politically, you're just enabling the same fundamental power structures that white supremacists do. You happen to be on the downturn right now, socially speaking, but you want the same hierarchy. You just want it with the different people on top. So they're all on the right. Tariq Nasheed used to be an MRA pickup artist, bro. Well, there you go, doesn't it? There are many liberals and lefties who make racist claims against white people. It happens sometimes, but for the most part, I don't want to over-exaggerate. Being a white person online is pretty easy. I'm not out here claiming that's not the case. I'm only saying the left should probably be consistent in the type of behaviors it finds abhorrent. You know? That's all I'm asking for, really. Because, to be perfectly honest, man, the treatment of that mentally ill kid at the Holiday Inn Express was bad enough as it was, but seeing racist grifters take advantage of it and make it out like some race issue, like the treatment of that white kid was justified because he was white, even though there was nothing racialized at all about the discourse, is disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Oh, one other reason to care about issues like this. If I remember correctly, and I could be wrong, chat, fill me in if I'm wrong, the quartering has already gotten his community to raise tens of thousands of dollars for that young man who had the mental breakdown. Issues like this are wedges that reactionaries will use to push their own propaganda. The kid said he didn't want it. What a based fucking Chad. What an absolute Chad. Well, kid, you ever want to come on stream, I'll make any day of the week open to you. I'd love to talk with you. Not about race stuff. We can talk about whatever you want. My segment, Vosh? Yeah, I'll get canceled for it, but whatever. Why do you guys keep posting what Kunta J says? Doesn't Kunta J have like 4,000 Twitter followers? Why do you people keep signal boosting this dumb fuck? I don't even know. I looked at their Twitter profile for like 3 seconds. They looked like a moron. I close and I block. Just why? Why do you keep giving them so much attention? Because he's good content? No, he's not. There are plenty of dumb fucks on Twitter. You can, if you go trawling around for any moron, you can find any position held by any group of people. You ever consider a black barber to shape your lineup? What? Do I look like the kind of person who puts much effort into his appearance? Also, I went to a black barber once, and holy shit, I don't know if black people just have like harder skulls or something, but he manhandled my fucking head. Holy shit. I don't know if they just have, like, steel plates up in there or something. Jesus Christ. It's like grabbing, like, I don't know. Black hair is tough to work with? Yeah, I mean, it looks a little more complicated, I imagine. Vosh, I've mentioned this before, but I have a white coworker who once told me if there was a race war, they'd fight for black people, then kill themselves after the black people won. Ooh. Oh, God. You should bring a brand to work and try to convince them that the only way to make up for slavery is to, like, get branded on their back, you know? You should milk this for what you can. Are you a POC? You could, like, get them to do your laundry for you. Holy shit. Oh my God. Tell them that's a joke. It's a joke. What's your reparations take? Reparations? Yeah. Yeah. I'm with Martin Luther King Jr. on this one. The American government did something especially bad to black people, so it must then do something especially good for black people. I feel like that's fairly straightforward. Like what? 40 acres and a mule. We're filling them out, okay? We're gonna go fucking invade Canada to get all the land we're gonna need for the fucking 30 million black people in this country. 40 acres and a mule. All right, we're manifest destinying up north, okay? That's what we're doing. They will fall for that one twice. Oh, well, it was 50 acres and a mule. And a horse? What do you want? Would the reparations be in the form of dividends or community investment? I want it in community investment. Dividends, I don't think, really fix institutional problems. Here's what's going to happen if you pay out dividends to black people, okay? All right? Let's say you give $10,000 to every black person in America, all right? The logistics of this are already difficult, but let's say you give $10,000. Now, that's quite a bit. It's quite a bit of money to just throw out to people, okay? You know what's going to happen? Landlords are going to get back payments due. Credit cards are going to be paid off, enriching the banks, or not enriching the bank, but, you know, paying back to the banks. Car repairs will be taken care of. Windows will be fixed. And in 6 months, that entire massive wealth transfer will dissipate and go right back to the same white-owned wealth structures that existed previously. Those dollars will be spent in white businesses. They will be used to buy products owned by white majority shareholder boards. Giving money to a community that is systemically impoverished doesn't really fix the problem. It fixes some of their problems, but it doesn't fix the broader problem. The broader problem is way more complicated. And not gonna lie, white supremacists are gonna have a really fun time with that one. Oh, well, I thought that the black people just needed some help, but we gave them all $10,000, and I can't help but notice they're all still poor and doing crimes. Guess money wasn't the problem. You know, like that sort of thing. I don't know what voice I was trying to go for there. That's another thing, like optically speaking, it would make lives easier for black people immediately, and that's good, but it would be used as a weapon against future investment. You know? Yeah. And then they would say black people don't get to complain about racism anymore. Oh, God, can you imagine the Tucker Carlson segment? Jesus Christ. For years and years, the left said that we needed to pay reparations. And we did. $10,000 to every black American. And they still want more. They're still complaining. Like, yeah, just it's broader investment. Of course, when I say broader investment, I'm doing a little bit of a cheat code here, because by broader investment, I mean I would need to think about it for a long time before I could come up with like a holistic list of policies. But there's some stuff, you know, like public works programs would be a good one. A set of policies designed to incentivize like entrepreneurship in those communities would probably lead at least to some good. Maybe some tax dividends. We could do Kamala Harris's thing. What was it? If you graduate from one of these universities and you start a business, serve an underserved community for 3 years, you get to pay off $5 off your next college tuition. You know, like, yeah. A lot of stuff that could be done. Oh, God. You know who would really get those $10,000? Yeah. No, shit, stop. Oh, God. Hold on. Dude, I hate Twitter so much. Why does me switching between scenes change the fucking window? Here we go. Uh, uh. Come back next year. Okay. It's a good meme. I'll post it in chat. Thank you to the person who may or may not want to remain anonymous for giving that to me in DMs. Yeah, there we go. God. What was I saying? Explain the meme? No. The link doesn't work, doesn't it? What? Oh, I guess you all suck shit then. Never mind. Anyway, what was I saying? I don't care. Can you expand on your Midsommar take because it was based as hell? Yeah, if you want me to get canceled again. Are there any women in chat? Well, who here saw Midsommar? Midsommar, spoilers, is basically about like a couple going to like, I don't know, fucking Norway or some shit to go to like this weird cult for like a holiday college project kind of thing, you know? And it's a guy and a girl, and their relationship is a little bit rocky, but then at the end of the movie, it's creepier and creepier shit happens, okay? And towards the end of the movie, the guy gets drugged and then led by an explicitly threatening group of cultists who have already been shown to kill people to go like fuck some kid. It was like a kid, wasn't it? It wasn't some like minor? I don't remember if it was like a kid. I remember her being like tiny or whatever. And or was it an old lady? Yeah. That's not illegal in Sweden. I don't care what you degenerate Europeans think is or is not okay. Basically, he was raped because the old lady helped. Okay, yeah. He was raped. He was drugged and then coerced into having sex with somebody, okay? It was rape. But then his girlfriend saw the sex, didn't think it was rape, and then like kind of ran off, and then later smiled as her boyfriend burned to death in like this big cottage that got lit on fire. She's like smiling and she's wearing a big flower crown while she's high as balls, and she watches her boyfriend get murdered because he was raped. And there are a bunch of women who are like, good for her. There was like 120,000 like tweets saying like, I'm rooting for her. Women are psychopaths, okay? All women are psychopaths. I'm red-pilled now. You missed the point? No, you missed the point. Fuck you. She got drugged and inducted into a white supremacist cult after watching her boyfriend get murdered, and we're like rooting for her? To be fair, her boyfriend sucked. Her boyfriend was just like kind of absent. He didn't deserve to fucking die. Jesus. This is a 20 IQ rating of Midsommar. No. You people, the people defending this right now, are unironically the fucking femme equivalent of frat bros who are like, bro. It wasn't rape. First of all, she knew how much she was drinking. Nothing was roofied, okay? Second of all right? Yeah, like 3 guys led her up to the bedroom, like holding her arms, but like she could have said no. Third of all, okay, they even asked her after pinning her to the bed if she wanted to leave, and she didn't say anything. Like, that's what you're doing right now, okay? That's what you're doing. It's a metaphor, yeah, and it's not a good metaphor. Goddamn right, Demon Mom. I got the Demon Mama approval. One good woman. Good. Lexi, 2. We got, hey, we're racking it. I don't know the genders of most people in chat, so I'm just. Wasn't that the point of the movie? The movie makes us kind of like her, but everything is awful. I didn't find her likable. I just thought the whole situation was like tragic and psychedelic, you know? Were we supposed to like the girl? I don't know. Yeah. She was kind of horrible. I don't know. People will just be sympathetic to any woman. She literally gets brainwashed? Okay, then how is it good for her? If the ending is tragic because she got brainwashed into a white supremacist cult and drugged to the point of being so delusional that she smiles as her boyfriend is burnt alive, then why are there so many people saying good for her? Why are so many people saying it's good? No, you can't have it both ways, guys. You can't good for her, and then go like, oh, it's tragic. I think it's tragic. You steal my position. This is some girl boss shit, okay? This is the same as guys who watch Fight Club or The Joker and think that this is like gonna define their life from now on. Yeah. No, Midsommar's Joker for white women, I think it's actually a better fit with Fight Club, dude, okay? All the fucking 16-year-old guys who are watching his name is Robert Paulson, his name is Robert Paulson, and they're like, wow, this is so good and manly, wow. And like the Tyler Durden rant in the hotel room while Jack is like freaking out. Tyler Durden's like, I fuck who I want to fuck. I fuck who you want to fuck. I look how you want to look. I'm super cool. And all the 16-year-old guys are like, oh my God, I could be, oh my God, it's so good. Like that. That's what Midsommar is for women. Okay. You know, I really don't like the fact that how convincingly I can make the soy Jack face when I want to. That's gonna be a clip right there. Oh God. Fight Club is a good movie? Yeah. Fight Club is a stellar movie ruined by a terrible fan base. They ruined it. When I was like a kid, like 16, Fight Club was like the best movie in the world to me. And then when I grew older, I'm like 18, 19, I was like, wait, actually, here's problematic themes I didn't recognize. And then I got a little bit older and I thought, wait, no, this actually is an unbelievably good movie. Holy shit, you know? It was, I just couldn't see that because the discourse around it is so fucking bad, you know? Look, Lamau. What? What is this? Oh. What's the best movie in the world aside from Fight Club? You can let Artem in. What's the best movie in the world aside from Fight Club? Obviously, Zack Snyder's Watchmen adaptation. Bait. He's running? Yeah? Who's that? Who's that? You smell like chicken. Have you been eating chicken? Yes, you have. Yes, you have. You've been eating yep. Chicky licky. So big. Hello. Mm-hmm. Claws out. You gonna kick my face? Yeah? Here. Say hello. Ow. Stop. Ow, that's my skin. Stop! Okay, we're trimming your claws today. Don't bite me. Don't do it. Nope. Ow. I'm winning. Because I'm bigger. Ah! Ah! He's so sharp. Stop! Let go of my shirt. Let go. Let go. Stop. Jeez. Okay, say goodbye. You did this to yourself. You pushed your head back there. Oh, he wants to bite me so badly. Yeah? I love him. Ugh. Violence out there. Jesus. Oh, let me make sure the window's open for him so we can. Hold on. He's so big. Okay. We're back. Hello. Fuck! No, it looks like the Caleb guy from the Holiday Inn is accepting the money from the quartering, no? Can't really blame them. I wouldn't turn down $30,000. Yeah, I don't have a problem with him taking the money at all. Though the turning down the money was a pretty Chad move. Yeah, I can't imagine he has any idea the broader context here. Here's Elijah Schaffer. Oh, God. We talking about Blaire yet? Oh, yeah. We have time for one more. Do we want to talk about Blaire White, or do we want to talk about the USA enabling mass death in India? Which do we want? Something that actually matters, or dumb shit? Dumb shit. It's going to be dumb shit, yeah. Yeah, that's what I thought. All right, hold on. Let me... Ow, he did get me. Let me read some donos, okay? Then we'll get to it. Ink Frog, thank you for the very kind $10. True. Ahsoka Bun O, thank you for the $10. Ari Aster's Cringe and Fight Club is a base critique of toxic masculinity. Oh, 100%. Fight Club is actually an incredibly salient critique of the worst elements of masculinity, if you're looking for it. Austin 1 and Indestructo Boy, thank you for the $5 both. Really appreciate that. I have a good opinion of Chuck Palahniuk. Or Palahniuk. I do. Yeah, true, Austin 1. Zed, thanks the tier 1 sub. Hunga Master, thank you for the $2. Lady Diametrisu fan cam. Yeah, I've seen that. No horny posting on this stream. Thank you. Square Cymbals and Casper Christensen, thank you for the $5 both. Really appreciate that. Tariq Nasheed responded to a comment from the conservative PSA video saying you won't debate him. I asked him who he was, but I thought he was joking. Wait, what? Tariq Nasheed wants to debate? If anybody has any evidence of Tariq Nasheed being interested in debate, then please email me evidence of that, and you will be facilitating potential good content. IN Word, Oobs and Lazy Peasant, thank you for the $5 all. Oops. Sure, Oobs, just for you because I'm in a good mood, okay? Big Daddy Vosh loves his dirty little minions. There you go. There's your $5, you horny fuck. Nickname, thank you for the very kind $10. Really appreciate that. Reza Sutra, thanks the tier 1 sub. Legacy Nitro, thank you for the $10. I got a donut for India, unless chat donos about Blaire I win. I didn't see the poll in chat. People are saying India won, though. Illa Devine, Power Surge, and Squishiaka, thank you for the $5 all. Really, really appreciate that. Yeah, Illa Devine I saw. I'm really looking forward to it. Maybe Squishy. Bernie Brosophus, thank you for the incredibly kind tier 4 sub. Really appreciate that. Linkman95, thank you for the incredibly kind $10. Really, really appreciate that. Yeah, it's pretty horrible. I'm sorry, but we'll make the world better. Hunga Master, thanks for $2. That Euro guy with the $3. I come from a homogenous second world country and we have a lot of issues, yet when Americans face these same issues, they are quick to blame racism. Why is that? What issues? Also, even if... So, people in an ethnically homogenous country can face poverty, and it's not because of race, but then black people in America can face poverty, and it is because of race, because the causes of the same problem can vary depending on the circumstances. Witchblade, thank you for the very kind $5. I'll probably talk about that in a future segment. Gangstar with the $15. Can we have a convo over your bad anti-art takes about the MCU? No. We are not having you on to talk about the fucking MCU. I love you, though. Thank you. Jesus. Miles Hill, Witchblade, and Iet Sprinkles, thank you very much for the incredibly kind $5. I'm not trying to be antagonistic, and I understand your position is one of tactics and consequence, but your defense of edgy white boys sounds like idpol. I'm not defending edgy white boys. I'm just using them as a proxy for... Guys... There are plenty of groups of people outside edgy white boys who engage in shock humor that's problematic, okay? I just say edgy white boys because they're probably the largest and easiest group to point at, but it's not just them, and it's not about defending them because they're edgy white boys. It's about being more accepting of the ways in which people express problematic sentiment and being better at responding to it. Critty Europe 42385 and Earth Apple, thank you for the $5 both. Mr. Silver, thank you for the $10. Can I get a ree? That's up to chat. Max 2000, thank you for the 2 Australian. Maybe Earth Apple, thanks for the $2. I love the poor, thank you for the tier 1 sub. Gina Dam and Saint Shenanigans, thank you for the $5 both. Really appreciate that. Virtual Guy with the tier 1 sub. Carbonated Peach Milk with the sub. Thank you very, very much. Ron Skf and Kira Harris, the $5 both. Really appreciate that. Hurts to waste $5 like this, but you look broke. True. Are you going to address how you keep using the R slur in your Discord channel? I'm going to be real with you guys, okay? I have autism. I think I should be able to say it. The only reason I don't is because on stream you people are super annoying about it. But goddamn right, in my Discord, if I want to, I'm going to drop an R-bomb, okay? Sorry. You people may be hypersensitive about this, but nope. Or an offline chat. Not enough rees. I'm too strong to be defeated by so few rees. Frederick Deister, thank you for the 10 euros. I really, really appreciate that. Hey Vosh, I thought about debating Nazis. I'm German, but all German Nazis are banned on YouTube, so just pose hipsters or talk about beards. Any suggestions? Just because Nazis are banned doesn't mean that people expressing Nazi rhetoric are banned. There's still plenty of people like that to debate, I'm sure. I'm sure you'll find something, but I can't tell you what you should be doing. David Henley, Axtov Dragonov, and Lucian Edwards, thank you for the $5 all. What color is grass? I can't remember. It's been so long. Well, it depends on where you are. In LA, it's brown all the time. What do you think of Kraut's Holocaust denying debunking video? I've never seen it. So I couldn't say. Topsco, thank you for the tier 1 sub. Congratulations on finishing your thesis. Sociable G with the 5 gifted tier 1 subs. That is really, really kind of you, comrade. Thank you very, very much. Calesta with a tier 2 sub, thank you kindly. Casper Christensen with a $2. Lindsay Ellis deleted her Twitter, you dumber. Why do people keep saying this when it's not true? Even in the video Lindsay Ellis made, she said that she couldn't delete her Twitter because she had contractual obligations to promote certain pieces of material. Still here. No, Lindsay Ellis just doesn't care for me. Mecha Freak Greco, thank you for the $5, duly noted. Gamer Freck, Triggs Viola, Bruce the Moose, and Floofy Momo. Thank you for the tier 1 subs all. I want to suck cock in hell. Who doesn't? Boy Meets Mini, thanks for the 2 gifted tier 1 subs. Theo from Wii Sports, thank you for the tier 2 sub. Harbor with the gifted tier 2 sub. Finish Theologian with the tier 1 sub. Alician with the tier 2 sub. Thank you very, very much. Really appreciate that. These donos are off from a little while ago. I'll leave those for a bit. Lumi, thank you for the gifted tier 1 sub. Cancer likewise. Socialist, thank you for the tier 1 sub. The Jesus Danger Christ, thanks for the $2. True. And then we have a bunch of links. Linkers. Kitty Ichigo 1. Look Voosh. Look what I made. Thank you for the $5. Oh, wait. This is actually super cute. You made this? Where did you find a camera capable of taking this bad of a photo? This is super cute. Oh, this is the vintage. Oh, wait. This is the vintage sweater from the 90s. So this is an old photo. And you recreated it. They look exactly the same to me. Except you've got... Yeah. No, they look exactly the same to me. If you didn't tell me these were 2 different sweaters, I wouldn't have known. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. The vintage sweater from the 90s is referring to this picture, and then these 2 are the same one. Sorry, I'm a moron. I think it looks great. It's definitely cut differently. Is this for a child? It's just very, the torso's very short. Well, I think it's very cute. And it looks great. You did well. Yeah, it's a toddler? Okay, gotcha. T Stock with the $5. Vosh, this guy is a Xinjiang genocide denier with 151,000 subs. This video from the genocide panel has 200,000 views. I'll maybe add it to the debunk list. We'll see. Sake Tanuki, thank you for the very kind $10. You're so mean, Sake. Inquisitor Peleus, thank you for the tier 1 sub. Rain Warrior with the $5. Made an illustration for the current topic. True! This should be the fucking thumbnail of the video. Christ. True. God almighty. Sake Tanuki with the incredibly kind $20. This is why your channel is plateauing instead of taking Hassan's spot as the #1 politics streamer. Is it gotta be? Okay, buddy. Yes, it is. Sake Tanuki, why would I ever do an Okay Buddy Vouch segment when you donate so much telling me to do one? You are truly incentivizing me. This copyright? It's copyright, but it doesn't matter. It's such a good bit. It's good. It's fucking good. We do need to go there, though. I go there off stream. It's good memes. Okay? Johnny Carrots, thank you for the very kind $5. Data I've seen seems to indicate little to no significant effects of voter ID law on turnout. Thoughts? It depends on the voter ID law. Some are more discriminatory than others. You could also make the argument that there is a sort of whiplash effect where voter ID laws will make certain portions of the population, it'll make it harder for them to vote, but they'll try harder in response to that. It's still something we should prevent, I assume. Little Desert Flower, thank you for the very kind tier 3 sub. Have found your videos cathartic, vindicating, and sating, and goddamn, I just appreciate the fuck out of you. I love you too, comrade. Thank you. Jesus. That's very, very kind of you. I'll read a couple of these old donos. We'll take a look at Blaire White afterwards then. Bub Savvy, thank you for the $10. Lit Akan City, thank you for the 3. Guillermo Lamas, thank you for the 10. Panic Stasis with the tier 3 sub. Jesus, Panic Stasis, I'm really sorry to hear that. Casper Christensen with the $5. Red Eye Sam with the 2. Cilliad with the $5. No Role Models with the 500 yen. Did India win the poll or not? I did not see. Can you vote again? Anti, I've not seen Invincible, no, but I want to. Eurovam, thank you for the 10. Christian McCloy Clemens, thank you for the $20. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. CJ with the $5. Hector Lloyd with the 10,000 currencies. Dynamic Prophet with the tier 1 sub. Mac Lead 2692. Oh, wait, India really is taking over Blaire. Oh, well, I was all set to do... Okay, we can do India. All right. RBD and Mega Bouncy Bunny, thanks to the tier 1 sub. More Timier with the tier 3 sub. Windleby Dazzler, Big Gay Fish, and Illadivine, thank you for the $5 all. Syllabic Abjad, Rawberry, thanks to the tier 1 sub. Sake Tanuki, Nickname, thank you for the $10. Adept Red, likewise. Klaus Mouse, Sieges Pacho, thank you for the $5 both. Ahsoka Bun O, thank you for the $20. Glad you like the convo. Daddy Marks, thank you for the $5. FMAB Sucks with the tier 2 sub. Wrong. Young Alex, thanks to the tier 1 sub. Rosenfist with $20. I will never stop saying etc. Squash, thanks to 5 Canadian. Legacy Nitro with the $2. TH with the 10. KMP Bunny with the 5. Alex Newman with 100 rubles. The Marxist Mark with the $15. And Austin Deering with a very kind $10. Now, of course, there are still donos to read, but we're going to ignore those very briefly in favor of talking about politics, which is a thing that I'm occasionally told I should do as part of my job.
Toss a coin to your streamer, oh, viewers aplenty.
Market economies function in a fairly complicated way. They make a lot of, they lead to a lot of harm. Sometimes they do some good. Sometimes, rarely do we see such a clean-cut example of harm. No, this is a bad beginning. Stop. Hold on. We're going to redo it. Pretend. Wipe. Biden. Bad. U.S. is under pressure to release vaccine supplies as India faces deadly surge. The Biden administration is blocking the export of supplies that India vaccine makers say they need to expand production. Whew! Biden admin officials are coming under increasing pressure to lift restrictions on exports of supplies that vaccine makers in India say they need to expand production amid a devastating surge in COVID-19 deaths over there. Guys, want to see India COVID cases? There's new cases. You may have noticed a slight increase recently. Just a bit of a statistical jump. That's new cases. There's deaths, an even sharper climb. Yeah, it's really bad. Here's the map of all new cases in the world, okay? Turkey doesn't look like it's doing too good. You know, here's Europe over here with its bubbles. And then here's India. Christ alive. Now, there are reasons why those numbers are spiking, but they're irrelevant to us now with regards to this particular issue. Funeral pyres have lit up the night sky in the worst affected cities, and the country has set a new global record of 1/3 new infections a day, which experts say could be a vast undercount. The State Department spokesman, Ned Price, Christ, that is an American name, said in response to questions about the export ban that the United States, first and foremost, is engaged in an ambitious and effective, and so far, successful effort to vaccinate the American people. The export restrictions fall under the Defense Production Act, which former President Trump invoked in the early days of the pandemic, and Biden has used since February to boost vaccine production in the United States. Mr. Price's comments came on Thursday, the same day Mr. Biden assembled world leaders for a global climate summit, which included India's Prime Minister, Modi, who you might all remember is mega cringe, okay? Just not really relevant here, just remember, cringe. Just keep your cringe-based meter appropriately calibrated. It's, of course, not only in our interest to see Americans vaccinated, Mr. Price went on to say, it's in the interest of the rest of the world to see Americans vaccinated. That did not go down well in India. By stockpiling vaccines and blocking the export of crucial raw materials needed for vaccine production, the U.S. is undermining the strategic Indo-U.S. partnership. This is pathetic. Is this what the U.S. leadership in the climate crisis will look like? Spare us the talking points. Vaccine production has lagged behind the needs of India's population of 1.2 billion. Adar Poonawalla, hope I got that okay, chief executive of Serum Institute in India, a vaccine manufacturer, appealed to Mr. Biden in mid-April to lift the embargo of raw material exports out of the U.S. so vaccine production can ramp up. His company this week faced criticism in India for the high price of its vaccines. Mr. Biden said this week the U.S. had already sent some unused vaccine doses to Canada and Mexico and was considering sharing more. We're looking at what is going to be done with some of the vaccines we are not using, the president said on Wednesday. We got to make sure they're safe to send. We have Greta Thunberg in here for some particular reason. So, as I understand it, the issue we're facing right now, the reason this is a problem, is because we have the surge of cases in India, and essentially Biden is using the War Powers Act to prevent private industry from distributing the raw supplies needed to produce those vaccines outside the United States. Now, there are a couple of directions you could take this. It's difficult to assess to what extent we have a surplus of these supplies. After all, if we have no surplus at all, then, that's that. It seems that in the time since this article was written, we actually have sent some aid overseas. The U.S. announced Monday it would share its entire supply of AstraZeneca plc's COVID-19 vaccine with other countries and readied an aid package for India, which is nice. The decision would make as many as 60 million vaccine doses available for export in coming months, though, to note, 60 million doses in coming months to a country with 1.2 billion, where COVID cases are looking like this, is, yeah. A drop in the bucket is a charitable, perhaps. Thank you very much. You've predicted. This was linked in chat. I think this is actually a better source to use because it's coming from India. Hindustan Times. I think that's much nicer to read. How the Biden administration changed stance on supply of vaccine raw materials to India. The announcement by Joe Biden comes close on the heels of the U.S. agreeing to provide India with raw materials needed for producing the Covishield vaccine and supply equipment such as ventilators and oxygen generation gear to support the country's response to a massive surge in COVID-19 cases. Let's see. It seems like there's been some effort to ameliorate the crisis that we looked at in the Vice article, which is 2 days older. Can we go back to the actual article, please? Is that okay with you if we went to the page that I went on? Why do news sites do this? Christ. The U.S. has invoked the Defense Production Act, which gives the power to control the distribution of products to curb the export of raw materials critical for vaccine production. However, the U.S. defended that curb, saying the Biden administration's priority is to meet the vaccine requirements for the American people. Why did the U.S. block the export? In November last year, the American pharmaceutical company Pfizer Incorporated cut short its vaccine production target by half, citing a shortage of raw material. Pfizer, which is producing mRNA COVID-19 vaccines, had earlier planned to roll out 1.2 billion shots in 2021, but reduced the target by half due to raw material shortage in the United States and Europe. The revised target was a major hindrance to Biden's full promise of administering 100 million vaccine shots in the first 100 days in office. The government purchased 600 million doses of COVID-19 vaccines from both Pfizer and Moderna, which will be delivered in regular increments through the end of July 2021. Then India appealed the lift of the ban, and the Biden administration changed it. So we just read all of this. Why do we care? We had a collection of news articles there detailing a series of events that have taken place over the past few months. Well, the reason this is relevant to me, actually there are a couple of them. It's part of a broader issue we're facing right now, where the world is putting in, particularly America, a wildly insufficient amount of effort at treating this like a proper global problem. Because COVID is a global problem. It hit the whole world at once, Even countries that handled themselves responsibly had to take pretty extreme precautions. Now, I don't blame Biden with being primarily interested in vaccinating Americans. That makes sense. They're in his country. He is voted in to represent them. That tracks to me. The issue that I have is that the systems by which we address a global crisis seem very, very, very contingent upon national interests. So, hello, Artemy. He agrees. So, for example, the hypothetical, maximum libertarian response to the COVID-19 situation is for corporations to develop and produce their own vaccine, and then with that production line, they would essentially distribute those vaccine doses to the highest bidders. But nations have worked to ensure preferential treatment from these corporations. One of the most egregious examples, by the way, remember when, what was it? Was it Germany? There was that German company developing something, and Trump was like, yeah, I'll have it, but only if no one else can. You know what I mean? Does anyone remember that? I wish I remembered the specifics on that, because that happened a little while ago. But do you remember that? Where he was like, yeah, we'll have it, but nobody else. Like, only if we can buy it. It was Pfizer and BioNTech. Okay. I remembered Pfizer, but yeah. Was it Pfizer? BioNTech, yeah. Which is really, 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 really funny. That didn't go through, but nations still have the ability to significantly influence how these resources are distributed. The war powers make that. BioNTech made Pfizer. Oh, well, there you go. The war powers that you can enact allow governments to take a lot of leeway with the ordinarily comparatively unmarred supply chain. And so, Vosh, I don't get it. The U.S. didn't help it, then they did, so what's the problem? The problem is that we have a national focus on an international problem. And if we want to have any shot of surviving, say, climate change, these types of behavior are no longer going to be acceptable. The USA isn't the only one engaging in nationalist preferential treatment here, and the Biden administration did sway a little bit, though, again, as is the case with raising the refugee cap, he seemed to need public pressure before he would do so, which is unfortunate. I can't imagine that any other president would have acted exceptionally humanitarian in the place of Biden here. What this really is a condemnation of the broader methods by which we address international issues. Because I can imagine right now how all of this is going to play out when we start to see real consequences of climate change, as the oceans rise and begin to encroach on island nations. Florida begins to disappear. We have the Polynesian culture, Southeast Asia, and the waters rise, and we have hurricanes that decimate cities, and online infrastructure starts to be damaged as well. And what's going to happen when the world really starts kicking it into high gear at that time is that all the countries around the world are going to do everything in their power to control the productive capacity of companies both within and without their borders. Let's take America, for example, okay? Do you think that America will contribute its resources towards a broader international supply pool, which they will then use to address the victims of climate change as needed and in the best possible order? No, of course not. In all likelihood, America would probably provide, and this is being charitable, a stipend towards an international fund while reserving the vast majority of its climate crisis relief for domestic issues. But that is inefficient. The most efficient way to deal with international problems is just that, internationally. If you actually care about alleviating these concerns as quickly as possible, you need to make sure that resources and aid are being distributed in a way that affects people as needed. A national focus on international issues will lead to overproduction and oversupply in some areas, and underproduction and undersupply in other areas. This is not a situation the free market is capable of addressing. Zonia, thank you so much for the incredibly kind donation. I really appreciate that. One of the nice things, I say nice here very sarcastically, about our modern economic systems, and also about the way nationalism works, is that it's entirely possible for us to enable great atrocities without bearing the weight of any moral responsibility. If a genocide is happening somewhere around the world, or let's say a great number of people are starving, and we have the ability to prevent that from happening, and we don't, how responsible are we? What if it's a trade-off? What if you have, let's say, $100 million that you can put towards a given issue? And in America, putting $100 million towards that issue would save 1,000 people. But abroad, that same amount of money could save 1 million people of the same affliction. What do we do? You could argue you're only really responsible for the people in the borders of the country who the elected representatives are making decision on behalf of, but that's not a great solution to a lot of global problems. It's worth pointing out, of course, and this sounds very third worldist of me, that here in America, the poor are comparatively quite well off when you take a look at the poor in, say, sub-Saharan Africa and some parts of it. The poor in sub-Saharan Africa have to deal with problems that the poor here in America don't have to deal with. If nothing else, here in America, even our homeless generally have a reliable source of clean drinking water. Not always. Again, I'm not saying always. In Flint, Michigan, happened. Don't try to exception my whole into pieces. Here I know it's not good, but generally, things over here are a little bit systemically better, a little bit at least for the poor. So it would follow then naturally that with the same amount of money, you could solve problems for many more people abroad than you could here in America. That there's a diminishing return that you see when investing money into problems. How much does it cost to provide clean drinking water and malaria medication to some African child? Aren't there those websites like for just 10 cents a day, like that kind of thing? How much does it take to sustain a person in America for 10 cents a day? I'm sorry, how much does it take to sustain a person in America? Not 10 cents a day, that's for sure. Quite a bit more, due to the relative cost of living and the cost of our existing infrastructure. There's a diminishing return here, which means that if you want to solve these global problems, the best way to do it is to abandon a nationalistic focus and take your aid to where it's needed most. If nothing else, it's more economically efficient. And economic efficiency is important when economic efficiency means you can save more people. Does this make sense? Oh God, nobody's paying attention to what I'm saying. Look, the point is this, okay? In any system, the more capable you are of assuring the efficient distribution of resources to where you're needed, to where they're needed, the more likely you are to solve these problems. Okay? That's a very simple fact of the matter. And the fact that we're having these issues with what is undeniably a global problem, COVID-19 is a global problem, okay? Much more so, for example, than starvation. The nature of starvation and the extent to which it takes place is selective, and it is contextually dependent. And there are a million ways in which it can be affected by the material conditions of the environment in which people are or are not starving. But COVID-19 is a very simple, very boilerplate problem. It was a super virus, and it hit the whole world. And the sickness affects everyone, basically the same way. And every country on Earth was saddled with the same problems. A national focus doesn't get us out of that. It's slow, ponderous, methodical, and painful. And I'm not more than a little bit jealous of the people in New Zealand and South Korea and Vietnam for their respective methods of handling this crisis. Maybe America could have benefited from some help from those people, huh? There are consequences to these national focuses, And they will only grow more evident as problems become more global. And the more time that passes, the more problems will be global in their nature, and the greater severity of these problems will be evident. It's only going to get worse from here. I'm having flash forwards 30 years from now when, like, nations are arguing over the distribution of climate change aid, and meanwhile tens of millions of climate refugees are just fleeing the coastlines. It's just like, oh my God, we need systems to address this nationally. Now, I began this segment by saying Biden bad, a little bit of a rhetorical setup. I think that pretty much any president would do what Biden has done here, in large part because this is a problem of nationalism. This is a problem of in-group, out-group differentiation beyond just race and class. This is a broader issue. It's one of the reasons why I am absolutely and unequivocally opposed to protectionist policies, both economic and social, because the only way we're going to be able to fix future problems is by working together as a planet, you know? So our response to the global crisis that was the pandemic is a window into how we will likely respond to other global crises like global warming? I believe so, yes. How was COVID-19 met with the world? First, it was a blame game. Americans, conservatives, they're still blaming China. Some countries handle it better than others. Some countries were hit by it harder than others. It becomes a massive political issue. Rather than it being addressed by scientists and engineers, it becomes addressed by politicians and demagogues, talking about how we need to take care of our own first. Other countries did this to us. We're being invaded by this foreign influence. And you know what's going to happen when climate change really kicks into high gear? The same shit. Florida's going to go underwater, and American conservatives are going to say, look at China spewing all that carbon into the atmosphere. They did this. They did this. We invested in green energy, say the same conservatives who 30 years ago opposed investing in green energy. They didn't. We're dying because of them. And we're going to withhold aid from them. They're going to withhold aid from us. We're not going to help. It's the same thing is going to happen. I don't just want Biden to do what presidents normally do. I want Biden to be transformative. I want Biden to work on really establishing, a truly radical international framework for aid and for recovery and for global crisis. And maybe he'll do that. But I don't think he will. I think we're going to need a cooler president than that to push that one out. End of segment. I leave you all to speculate. Cooler president. Like me. Ha! That was a mint. That was a mint in my mouth. Also, letting the virus run around in a population risks allowing the evolution of a new strand unaffected by the vaccine. Oh, shit, that's a good point. Should have thrown that one in the segment. Jesus. I predict we're going to have another global pandemic sometime within the next decade. All those super viruses, you know? Yeah. Have you all read that or watched that Kurzgesagt video? It's quite harrowing, you know? Because back in the day, we didn't have antibiotics or whatever, so viruses lived and they died and whatever, but we're essentially putting disease into like a hyperbolic time chamber. We're like Goku training them by pitting them against stronger and stronger antibiotics, you know? Yeah. Antibiotics can affect viruses. Sorry, bacteria. Yeah, bacteria. Yes, bacteria. Biotic bacteria. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. everyone. Drug misuse by doctors. Well, that's part of it. People aren't as naturally resistant to disease as they used to be. We spend more time inside, less time outside licking dirt. And we also overprescribe antibiotics. You should never use antibiotics unless the alternative is like hospitalization. If you're sick and you're healthy, like you're a healthy body and you're sick, you should chill. Just rest it off. It helps your immune system better in the long run. Now, of course, yeah, if you have a disability, if there's some other concern, yeah, but you don't want to take antibiotics for just any little thing. Does eating ass increase one's immune response? I wouldn't be surprised if it did. But Vosh, antibiotics are in meat too? Yeah, go vegan. Idiot. Fucking morons. Go vegan. It's morally and personally beneficial, okay? Dumb fuck. Do you think Shoe-on-Head is the type of person who would accept universal health care in the United States if it meant excluding trans people from said health care? Absolutely not. I would be... That would be such an astonishing deviation from her personality. No. I don't really think that Shu is part of the Nazgul vortex. I just think Shu is rabidly populist. And those two overlap quite a bit, but Shu has never and will never suggest that we should give up on certain progressive social rights for the benefit of economic equality. There's an overlap. I don't deny this, but yeah. Well. Anyway, well, yeah, with the 2 consecutive $5 donations, it can be fixed by love, comrade. Legacy Nitro, thanks to the $2. Harley Trash 13 with the incredibly kind $20 donation. Been watching your content for a little over 6 months. I really appreciate your discussions. Make me challenge my own leftist views, like racism topic. Thank you, comrade. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I think it's important to be introspective, and I'm glad you enjoy my content enough to even consider donating. Yeah, Denims, people ask me to answer for Shu all the time. Wait, you're seriously vegan? Please tell me this is a joke. No, I'm not vegan. You should be vegan, though. Me saying you should be vegan is a little bit like me saying you should probably donate excess income to charity and also go on a 20-minute walk every day, okay? Do as I say, not as I do. It's honestly not that hard. Anyone who says going vegan is easy should shut up and never talk again about vegan issues because all you do is put people off. Obviously, because he's a man must speak in her behalf. Well, there were a lot of people speculating that Shoe-on-Head would be like my secret new girlfriend now that I'm single. But I have... It's not as much as I expected it to be, but I saw something on like Kiwi Farms and stuff. Anyway. Austin1, thank you for the very kind $20. Ironic racism to whites, grew up with racism, slurs, beating, entered college, label white and others in class. It's traumatic, already have CPTSD and self-hate. Hearing my existence is bad by others I want to help really hurts. Yeah, of course, absolutely. There's no excuse for racism, even if it's not reflected in systemic problems. No denying that. Tlisbeth with the 2 $5 donations. As a developer, I can explain how wrong you are in your Final Fantasy XIV take. Sorry, nope, I'm not being moved over. Sorry. I'm back on my old shit. Jesus. Liani F and Evie Believe, thank you for the $5 both. Really appreciate that. Thank you for the kind words. Thanks for getting me out of that Dankula quartering Tim Pool Crowder pipeline. No worries, comrade. Christ. What a rough ride. Devil's Advocate and Hunger Master, thanks for the $2. When is the Hakeem debate? Not for a while. No. Thank you for the very kind 21 Canadian dollars. Happy Ramadan. I hope your father's enjoying my videos, or at least the discourse in it. Bonding over my videos. That's really sweet. Here, bond over this disgusting flesh cat. Ooh, she reach. Wah. Yeah? Wah. She's being pretty chill. Very sleepy. Are you sleepy? Are you dumb? Yes, you are. Sleepy. Oh, now we're escaping. Yeah? Is that true? Oh, do you like it? Ah! Well. Does Pigeon stab you less than Artemy? Artemy is definitely more playfully violent than Pigeon is. You want out? Yeah? Oh. Yep. HTTP Lovecraft with a very kind $10. More Outer Wilds tomorrow, comrade? Probably. Not looking forward to exploring the spooky place more. Adams, I think that Armored Skeptic's a fairly handsome guy. Junk Loot and Mitchie, thank you for the $5 both. Really appreciate that. No, Mitchie. Mikel Montoya, thank you for the 10 euros. Thank you very much. Possibly, comrade. There are a lot of research streams that I want to do. Theron Hawksky, thank you for the very kind $5. No problem, comrade. Mo Gill, thanks the tier 1 sub. Bash the Flashbank the Tank with the incredibly kind $20. YouTube channel K and Skittles has a good video on Midsommar Director Cut where the movie turns into an allegory of being recruited into a fascist cult. Certainly fucking felt that way, yeah. Women Loving Women Violinist. This is like a dating app for you, Jesus. An ELT admin, thank you for the $5 both. No, I've never read Sterner. I'm very sorry. But thank you very much, violinist. Alex Newman, thank you for the 200 rubles. Really appreciate that. Yeah, I'm glad people like the mental health video. People responded to it much more positively than I expected. Booza Blixby 98, Paul DSSB, and Sweetie Bear 95. Thank you for the $5 all. I really, really appreciate that. The point of Midsommar is her boyfriend is emotionally abusive and it drove her to another abusive relationship. I guess I didn't think the boyfriend was like shitty. I didn't think the boyfriend was like deserves to be murdered shitty, but yeah, I don't know. Ink Frog, thank you for the 5. Any thoughts on Ace Attorney? Never played it. Anderson Andujar, thank you for the $10. Hey Vosh, I fell for the Tim Pool grift once upon a time. Got so sick of it, I started looking for a Chad Lefty to destroy his takes and found you. Been a fan ever since. Well, hopefully I get to go on Tim Pool again sometime, huh? I think that'd be fun, wouldn't it? COVID's starting to wind down. I've got one arm shot. Did you see Shu calling you out? What? I see. Not being called out, it's fine. Aw. Pigeons in the window. Denim's the most attractive lefty streamer after Vosh. I am nowhere near the most attractive lefty. I don't know what the fuck you people are talking about. Oh, here, okay. Well, placate the... Yeah, we can placate the Coomers for a little bit while we finish this up. Botanically a Berry, thank you for the $5. Sake Tanuki with a very kind $10. 2 $10 donations. Going vegan isn't the moral or correct choice. Advocating for equality of food production distribution is the only correct moral choice. Validating their unfounded and unjustified woke scold is... Sake Tanuki, you stop. You stop. The fact that most vegans are annoying does not mean that vegan ethics are incorrect. That's not how we form moral positions, okay? Hunger Master with a very kind $2. Also, you should do a segment on this Denims versus Destiny vid. Destiny makes a bunch of bad arguments about co-ops. Denim also be cringe for making false claims at Dest. And then you link the video with another $2 donation. I saw some of it myself. I'm not policing Destiny anymore. I feel like I've spent the past like 6 years. Anytime he has like a bad take, I try to like poke him in the right direction. Just today, a trans woman was harassed by neo-Nazis in a poll thread, and Destiny's response was to quote tweet the trans woman, Demon Mama, and say, "You faked that, you made that up, you're doing this for attention." I feel like he's moved beyond a position where we're gonna like prod in the correct direction. Yeah. Besides, he hates lefties so much at this point that pointing out that he's incorrect would probably only make him double down in his position. When was the last time you saw him do something fucked up and then like somebody pointed that out and he was like, "Oh wait, you're right"? Has that ever happened? Actually, he used to, it's like 3-4 years ago he was capable of doing that, but no, not anymore. Mr. Dave, here, what's up? Bosch, I think it's wrong to equivocate anti-black racism with anti-white racism simply because they're both essentialists. It's wrong, but they can't be as bad. I think I spent like 20 minutes of that segment saying that they're not as bad because the systemic outcomes are different. But in terms of like morally, like what you're doing, I feel like what you're doing is just about as bad, right? Like, maybe not in the outcome, but it, like the potential intent. Consequentialists have to factor intent in as well, after all, because it can be indicative of future behavior. Casper Christensen, thank you for the $2. Wazizi, thank you for the $5. What race do you play? I'm playing an orc shaman, but I want to be a Mag'har orc. Mag'har? Orc? So I have to complete that quest line, and then I'll get a race change because I want to look like Mag'har because they look cool. Sasha Star, hello. Thank you for the very kind $10. Vosh found a cursed meme on TikTok. Are there any other kinds? Stop. Wait. Stop. Stop. I have to remember, TikTok auto plays. Okay, what? Stop. What is this? Oh, okay, so I just can't play it because it's music. I love it. I'm sorry, but I can't play music. Okay, we're gonna have to chalk this up to capitalism. Okay. June T3, thanks for the $5. Bosch, I need to know what to do about the situation. 47 seconds. You've given me a Google Doc link to which I have no access. It says access denied. Zanya with the incredibly kind 20 tier 1 subs. I really, really appreciate that, comrade. Jesus. Got some decent sleep. Haven't been able to catch much of your stream. Busy touching grass / garden with baby. Imagine. Wait, this is Google Photos. Wait, I have to like enter my password to see this. Hold on. Oh, there we go. Baby! I don't know why Imager fell out of favor, but oh my god, look at the baby. Look at the baby. Old cat. Anyway, Sake Tanuki with a very kind $10. It's not just the woke scolding, it's that so many are biologically illiterate and ignore their unjust hierarchy based on consciousness. Yeah, but that doesn't have anything to do with the ethics. You should still be vegan. We should all be vegan. And everyone who isn't is cringe. 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 You're all cringe. Everyone except the vegans. Who here isn't cringe? Who here is a vegan? I'm cringe. I don't know, Mythos Bluefish. People are dumb, that's all. Thank you for the €5. All right. Anyway, there's like 3 pre-cooked chicken breasts that I seasoned to perfection waiting for me, so I'm going to go get to that. Where did I put my... Where did I put... Yeah, I hear you. Where did I put my hairband? I've been using the same hairband for like 6 months. We can't lose it, okay? We have a deep investment in this hairband. Where did I even put it? Here it is. All right. I love you all very much. We'll deal with the Sake Tanuki's anti-veganism next stream. We're raiding the serfs apparently. Go, go, Twitch chat. Go, 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 go. Go, 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 go. Go, 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 go. Nickelodeon. Goddamn rating feature takes so long, actually. Pigeon! Pigeon! I see her. All right. Peace out, everyone.